I wonder if this works. Can people hear? Hello. Oh, it is working. Lovely, lovely. Okay. Lewis, it's Wednesday, says Banana. I think it's only Wednesday if you're in Europe or Africa or the Middle East. It is Tuesday over here. Got some blackberry vanilla kombucha from HEB. This is some good stuff. What was a major life decision you live streamed about the other day? I missed it. Right now, I have director of two nonprofits, have my repair company, YouTube company, and a full-time job. And my major life decision was going from having 5 jobs. I'm seeking to go from 5 jobs to 1, if that makes any sense. One, actually not 1, 2. Like 1.5, 2. Trying to go down to like 1.5 or 2. Yeah, I realized I kind of, I had my, like one of the things that I had to realize is that between the age of like 21 and 28, I think I lived the life that other people I think could live from 0 to 90 5 times over and probably have as much stress as I did between 21 and 28. And I am looking to undo that a little bit. Yeah, definitely looking to undo that a little bit. I remember Paul, don't get me wrong, Paul was a great employee. I loved having Paul here. He's really good at what he did. But I didn't hire him because he was good at what he did. I hired him because I actually wanted a girlfriend. So it was August of 2017, and usually, and you might wonder, well, why do you have to hire somebody to have a girlfriend? Yeah, I can have dates before, but not like a real honest relationship. And so ever since I started this at the end of 2008, I worked every day. And once I opened a store in 2011, I had open hours that I posted, and I didn't have anybody to work the weekends. So usually employees are okay working 40 hours, but they're not okay working, like 50 or 60 hours, so they need a day off. So I would work, and usually, on average, you can find good people to do work 40 hours, but the type of person that's going to accept only working for like 5 hours each day on the weekend, like a 10-hour work shift, it's usually going to be somebody that's desperate and, more importantly, either A, desperate, not necessarily great at the job, or B, really good at their job and is going to want to work at like a contractor rate of like $150 an hour or something, which I couldn't afford. So I would work every day on the weekday because I would open the store. We were open from 10 to 8, and people worked 8 hours a day. So I would show up at 10 to open and then like stay late and then, be there to manage and do stuff later on. And then I would show up on the weekend from either 10 to 6 or 12 to 6 or 12 to 4, whenever we were open. So I didn't have my first, this is actually so fucking sad to put on camera. I don't remember having a real, genuine, honest to God weekend off until 2017. I had been working for 9 years before I had a weekend off. And yeah, I just my life decision is like, I kind of want to try something completely new, just for the fuck of it, just for the sheer and utter fuck of it. And B, I wanted to kind of minimize the, I kind of wanted to why do I have why do I have 5 jobs? Like, why? It's obvious. It's obvious to essentially anybody that knows me in my personal life that I'm just fundamentally, completely burnt out on it all. And yes, change, new things to do. Howdy, Lewis. Ever been to Houston? Yeah, I took my dad. I forget which museum, some space museum. I forget the name of it. I feel shitty that I forget the name of the space museum. But I got to see something. Honestly, everything there was a tourist trap, except for one thing. Like, the entire place was a tourist trap. They have you standing next to this area. So they have you waiting to get on a tram at one point, and they have a fan that's blowing towards you, but the fans are all broken. And then right next to all the broken fans, while you're waiting to get in the tram to go to this other part of the museum, they have these machines where it's $4 for a fucking bottle of water. So However, the one good thing there was they had, I forget, it was some space shuttle or rocket ship from the 60s, and you could literally look at all the wires and the equipment in it. They essentially took a ship from the 60s that landed, and they just put it there, and they had everything as it was. So you could just look at it and look at the wiring and look at the tools and look at everything inside of it, and that was absolutely amazing. Just being in the same room as that and being able to, like, look at the real ship rather than a picture of it was amazing. I've been to Houston for a couple of other things. It was a medical conference. I went with the famous and great gentleman and scholar Justin Barbour, who runs the Better Biomed channel. He's a good dude. I felt really bad that I didn't get to spend as much time there as I wanted. There was something else that I needed to do. I feel really bad about that because he's a good dude, and like that was a really cool conference, and Justin's a really cool guy. I got to speak to Bill Bassick, who's an absolute giant and monster in that field, like monster in a good way, like really cool dude who actually wants to help people fix hospital equipment. But more importantly, he takes a lot of pride in doing it the right way. He has a school based on it. It's really cool. I went there for that event. That was a conference, and I went there for the Space Museum thing. And I also went there to go to Rice University at one point to try and recruit interns for work. But one of the things about Houston, I don't know. Houston, like I'll honestly say I agree with almost everything that Not Just Bike says about Houston. It's an absolute clusterfuck. It's just a mess. Stop deleting live. I don't have time to catch up. How you doing, Sonny? Did you see the new? Yeah, my next video, Sonny, is going to be made for you. Hopefully my next video is for you. I know you've had the experience with what I'm talking about next. That I'm not going to spoil it for you. And thank you. What are some self-loving things you tell yourself every day? That's one thing I'm pretty bad at. Trying to get better at it, trying to actually write it down. Not very good. What's your best advice for coping with depression with the after effects of losing a loved one? When it comes to that, I'll be 100% honest with you. I have no clue. Like, that's a therapy kind of thing. Or like anytime I've had something like that happen, I do something very bad. You know how, like, let's say you quit drinking, but after you quit drinking, you start doing something else. Like, I don't know, you start drinking a bunch of coffee or whatever it is. Like, I've only been good at quitting one drug or addiction for another. So if I lost a loved one, what I would do is I would find something else to bury myself in so that I would forget about that, how horrible I feel. And that's not the healthy thing to do. I'm sure that there's a much healthier way to grieve, a better way to do it. I'm not good at that, so that's what I do. That's what I did. And again, that's not what works. That's probably not a good idea. That's the only thing I could think of. The couch looks cozy. There's a link to it below, I believe. It's actually quite comfortable. I enjoy this. The white knight that protects and fixes electronics is awakened. I would not call myself that. Not even close. Love you, Rand. So nice to hear when I'm showering. Thank you. Yeah, guy with a shirt on. I have tried to... one of the things that I've really tried to do this year, this is going to be my half-year resolution, not New Year's resolution, because we're coming up in the half point soon, is trying to be nicer to myself. Zipper is down. Maybe I intended for it to be down. What is your YouTube RP rotations per minute? I have no idea. I don't spin. I just rock back and forth. So I don't really spin. I just rock back and forth. So I don't have an RPM. Wait, I just rock back for. Yeah, I have an RBF, but not an RPM monkey ASMR. But I've never counted it. When do you plan to retire? So there's two different types of retire. The first type of retire is when you see that you don't have to work anymore ever again because you've made enough money. I am far from that. And if inflation stays at the same rate it is, I'm even further from that. Like, in a best case scenario, before, like an absolute utter best case scenario, like best case was probably 7 to 9 years. And that was before I decided to downsize. I downsized a lot of the stuff that I was doing that to pursue other things that I want to do with my life. Now, probably closer to like 15, 25 years. I would like to start an e-bike repair shop. Do you have any tips for starting a good business? Treat your business like it's real. Treat your customers as well as you can. Fulfill a niche that's not being fulfilled. Above all, figure out what your competitors are doing wrong, and don't advertise based on what you want. A lot of people advertise based on what they think they want. The fact that we're halfway through 2024 scares me. Holy crap! I got $20,000. Huh? Like maybe I'll retire sooner than I thought. Oh, it's 20,000 IDRs. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to starting a business, I would always say figure out what your competitors are doing wrong and advertise to that. Don't write down what you care about. Don't write down what you want to like. Don't write a beauty pageant essay. Call your opposition. Pretend that you're a customer. Really enter the experience of being a customer of your competitors and figure out what they're doing wrong. If they tell you $100 over the phone, and when you go in person, they're like, oh, it's $100 for the part. If you want us to do it, it's $400. First thing on the bullet point. The price we put over here, here is the phone number of our competitor. Here's the phone number. Call these people. They're going to give you one price. When you show up, it's another. When you come here, the price on the website is the price you pay. Like, figure out what makes your opponent suck. Like, they say they can do it immediately. When you show up, they go, oh, you have a different problem. It's going to take a week, when in reality, you don't. Like, the bait and switch of your opposition, the incompetence of them, whatever it is. And if your competition is genuinely amazing and they're doing a perfect job and there's nothing wrong whatsoever and you have nothing additional to offer, you might want to think twice about whether it's worth it to jump into doing that thing. Now, again, if your opposition is doing a great job, let's say they're doing an absolutely perfect bang-up job and they're doing everything they're supposed to do, and there's a line out the door every single day and they can't take all the business, then take it. But if there's not a line out the door from your opposition and they're doing everything you're supposed to do, you might want to invest into it very slowly, or just like, rather than dive straight in. You got me considering disconnecting from Apple. I like the idea of Image. Are there any NAS devices you recommend? The best NAS device you can get is a Linux server you build yourself. Image is awesome. I'm actually, I'm very close to the end of trying to get the Image team a little bit more resources for being able to do what they do full time. I can't demonstrate Image to you because I'm going to wind up showing you pictures and stuff in my library that's just fundamentally not for you. Imagine Google Photos if it was better. Image is imaging, so is essentially, imagine if Nextcloud wasn't slow and shitty. Like, when I use Nextcloud on this phone, like when I use it, even with a 14700K and a decent internet connection, I will scroll, and even if I pre-create the thumbnails, it just loads slow as shit. And I can run top on that computer and see it, like, some PHP process with 1700% CPU usage. Image, everything loads immediately. Like, I can scroll through this whole fucking thing, and literally everything loads immediately. You click an image, it loads immediately. Even if I go out of my way on my router to limit the bandwidth just to fuck with it and see what happens, it creates not just photo proxies, but video proxies as well. So if you're looking at stuff over a slow internet connection, it works. And it uses a local AI, not an online AI, but a local AI, to figure out who everybody is on your phone, and you can label it. I want to look at a picture of Jessa. I want to look at a picture of myself. I want to look at a picture of my martial arts instructor and see every picture of my martial arts instructor. I can click it and it works. It's open source, it's fast, and it's created by cool people. So definitely check out Image if you'd like some sort of storage and hosting solution for organizing your photos. It's absolutely amazing, and I've never used a piece of software like that in my life. I use Nextcloud just for saving, but not for viewing because it was so bad. This thing is just good. Again, you choose the settings for photo proxies. You choose the setting for video proxies. It's great. Do you and Eli, the computer guy, ever get to hang out together? I met him once when I went to Baltimore. Once when I went to Maryland in March of 2020, and that was the only time we met in person. If I ever visit North Carolina, I'd be happy to visit Eli. I have some company training videos I took a while ago. Think we can go over them when I get my broken screen fixed. What do you mean by company training videos? I'm curious. Hello, Lewis. Wow. Small world. Better Biomed is here. I hope your calf gets better, sir. And screw all those people that were liking that post on LinkedIn. Imagine this. Imagine you make a post saying, I broke my bone. I'm in a hospital. And then like a bunch of people like, why are you liking this? I explicitly posted, I am not going to like you breaking your bone. I hope you get better soon, sir. Yeah, check out his channel, Better Biomed channel in the chat. He is a gentleman and a scholar and a good dude. He actually genuinely gives a shit about his industry and is doing everything he can to make sure that hospitals and medical facilities do not waste all of their money replacing unfixable junk so that people can have a lower cost of healthcare and so that the hospital can continue to provide the level of service that they do rather than say we're out of stuff. We're out of, we have decreased capacity. Have you ever thought about funding DIY repair schooling sessions? Like funding a place that would help tech people repair certain things, in particular what we used to call it. What was his name? Mitch something. It sounded literally in the tip of my tongue. He showed up to the Hope conference 2 years ago. Mitch, one second, I'm gonna find him. Man, it's in the top of my head. I forget. Okay, there was one place that I had my nonprofit give $10,000 to. I forget. He's on the tip of my tongue. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, I gave a $10,000 donation just so that they could get some lab equipment that would allow them to do stuff like the stuff that I do on camera. That they would like. Like the micro soldering shit. I think this stream is killing the Blue Tone app. That reminds me of my bestie, AJ. Why don't you talk about AI? I don't know. I already did. I guess I talk about what I care about. I have a lot of stuff I'm doing right now, so I haven't gotten to finish my AI project. I really do. I wanted to do a video on it. So a lot of people keep saying I would think differently about AI if there was people were trying to use AI to teach people how to do what I do for free. So I've actually been going out of my way to try and figure out how to use Mistral 7B to go through essentially every single piece of information that I've ever published on board repair. And I spent like a month defining like 6,000 different signals, defining a bunch of different shit before I even start giving it the core articles and everything. So that's a project I've been working on for a really long time. And one of the things that, that's what I want to do is I want to show, I not only have I spent 10 years on YouTube trying to show people how to do my job for free, but now I'm actually going to use AI to replace me. Like, you salty bastards. But I'm not done with that project yet, and it's going to be a while because I kind of put too much on my plate. For next slide image, have you tried the Memories app? It's just like Image, but it's just a plugin. I have not. I just said fuck this and tried something that worked better. What makes CompTIA so shitty? I think what makes it crappy is the lobbying against right to repair, and also that a lot of the tests, essentially, they wind up asking you things that are fundamentally not useful in the real world. And that's what I don't like. I don't like this idea that there are so many things you have to learn that are not useful in the real world to get a job. It's just one of the few non-brainwashed consumers informing us of all the shady things tech companies do. Thank you. Still respectfully request a Clinton response easy button with proceeds going to right to repair. I don't know what a Clinton response button is. Speaking of Clinton, Clinton, he used to sit on the chair, and since I moved the chair over here, he doesn't anymore, and that kind of makes me sad. Want to say thanks for motivating people to take ownership of their data devices. Because of you, I've joined that fight by pivoting my content to showcasing self-hosting services people learn. Thank you. That's awesome, Code Fallacy. I appreciate that. Thanks for inspiring me to learn to fix electronics. Looking to get me a hot air station. You know, we have them available at store.rossmanngroup.com. Check out the... let's see. We better have this in stock. Let's see. Do we have it? Yes, we do. And it should ship same day because I know I have all these things in stock. Check it out. This is literally the only sponsor of my company. The only sponsor of my company is my own fucking website, because nobody else is going to look at this channel and say this is a good idea to advertise my products on. Is it a bad idea to attach wheels to the bottom of that chair so I can effectively replace my office chair? Probably. Where's the cat? Clinton! Psst, psst, psst. Blackberry sleeping on her favorite spot on top of my couch. She likes sleeping on... hey, have you thought about funding DIY? I already answered that one. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm scrolling. I want to come up with a way to bring in new people to the automotive industry as the next level generation of mechanics, but there's so much litigation to prevent this, I have no idea to start. Yeah, that's kind of sad. Do you think we'll figure out that AI is evil before or after one of them tries to kill everyone? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Microsoft recently stole hundreds of thousands of Minecraft accounts because they didn't migrate in. I don't really know much about Minecraft. I have some crazy tech for technical training to show you. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Better Biomed. Hi, Lewis. Referring to your video today, people can feel unsafe when they're really safe and safe when they're really in danger. I stopped changing my behavior based on how other people feel. Yeah, you can't control how other people feel. I mean, that's not an excuse to be an asshole. Like, I can't say, I can't tell somebody to go fuck themselves and say, well, I can't control how other people feel. What do you think of the Framework 16? I have not tried the Framework 16. I have the old framework, and I have a ThinkPad P50, and because of the way that I use my devices, I probably am not going to have to upgrade my laptop or replace my laptop for the next 15 years. I don't know. I mean, it looks like a laptop. Let's see. Am I able to get a non-off-centered keyboard? So I see you have a numpad over here. I hate numpads on laptops because they make it off-center. It's one thing I hate about my P50. I like that it has a track point, and I tolerate it because it has a track point and nobody else has the track point, which is essentially necessary. But like the thing about the numpad is that it makes you have the thing off-center, and I don't use numpads anyway. They're kind of useless to me, but particularly on a laptop. I really don't want a numpad on a laptop. It seems like a decent computer, and they're a good company. Like, they stand behind their products. Thumbs up to Framework. I'm sure they make good shit. I have no reason to replace my laptop because I am going to, again, my ThinkPad from Piece 50 from 2017 that was made in 2016 is literally, it's going to be good enough for the next 5 years at the absolute very least for everything that I want to do with it. We've really gotten to a point where you don't have to get new computers constantly. Granted, the battery life sucks and it's heavy, but it is what it is. What do you think about people contributing on GH to commercial projects? You mean GitHub? I don't know. Do what you want to do, I guess. I don't really care. Now, GH could mean something else, but that's what you get for using an acronym. Going to be throwing my Ring camera out after watching them increase the subscription prices for cloud storage. Have to find some good local storage friendly options. Yeah, again, I personally am against you buying any device that doesn't allow you to choose the server you use. Like when you would buy a camera back in the day, it supported something called ONVIF and RTSP. And what this meant is that you could use any device of your choice to connect to that camera. And that camera would provide a stream. You connect any piece of software or hardware of your choice to that camera, and you could use what you wanted. When you, oh my God, I literally just fed you. Come here. Come here, Oreo. Come here, Oreo. Here, kitty. Psst, 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 psst. Good boy. Come here, kitty. Come here, kitty. Psst, psst, psst. Kitty. Here, let's get everything out the way. Kitty. Psst, 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 psst. Kitty. Good boy. He's so old. It's really hard for him to get up here. If he wasn't able to get up here, I would have happily picked him up. It's so slow compared to Clinton. It's ridiculous, even though I think Clinton's actually older. Good boy. Good boy. Good kitty. Good Clinton. I mean, good Oreo. I didn't get your name wrong because I thought you were a different cat. I gotta clean your eyeball. What is that? Oreo. Oh, come on. Let's see. So you have fallen to the AI dark side. I mean, it's not really a dark side. It's a very useful tool. It's a very useful tool, I think. Like there are a lot of things that I can use it for that are useful. Like what people like to do with AI a lot of the times is what they'll do is they'll say, well, it's really stupid if you try to get it to write a program or it gets things wrong. And it's like, yeah, so does Google. Like how many times have you Googled a question and clicked the first result and not even was it wrong? It showed you a result that had absolutely nothing to do with your question. AI is a very useful tool. It helps me get things done faster as long as you figure out its limitations and understand its boundaries and do not try to use it for everything. I think it's an absolutely fine tool, and I have no problem using it, and I'm not really ashamed to be using it nor to be contributing it to it, or again, using training an open model on all my knowledge so that other people, if it's done properly, which is a big fucking if I do things properly, be able to benefit from it and be able to learn faster. I have no problem with that. Why would I care? What cloud storage do you use? My own Linux server that does not connect to the internet. Love what you do. Thank you. You deserve way more support than you currently have. I don't think that's the case. I think I have way more support than 99% of society. I'm good. If anything, with like one of the things that I'm thinking about, like once my nonprofit's out of money, I'm not doing any sort of fundraising because I feel, this is one thing that my old boss was mentioning is essentially, as if you're this popular, you're going to suck a lot of the air out of the room for everybody else. So if I have not gotten a right to repair bill passed if I haven't gotten right to repair to a point where the people in my industry are actually able to get the parts that they need, or at the very least even get the parts they used to be able to get 5 or 7 years ago, I don't want to continue sucking air out of the room when somebody else may actually be able to do a better job than me, either rhetorically and culturally or legally. Oreo, stop putting your claw into me. Come on, boy. It's okay. You're secure here. No, you're not going to fall away. Come on. Yeah, once I'm sorry I don't watch your content as consistently. It aggravates me to hear with Till being taken for a ride. Yeah, I'm sorry. If the liquid metal on my laptop CPU drips on the board while replacing a fan, am I fucked? Usually. It depends on what it got to. A, did you turn it back on again? If you didn't turn it back on again, you're not fucked at all. You just got to clean it all up. And B, it depends what it fell on. Like, did it fall on a pull-up resistor in ground, or did it fall on between like 12 volts and CPU V-core? If it fell between 12 volts and CPU V-core, obviously you're fucked. You just send 12 volts to your CPU. If it fell on like some stupid pull-up resistor for some random signal to ground, it's just again. You just clean it off and you'll be good. I have no idea. It's one of those things where it really depends on how it is you screwed up your particular device. Your cat looks like Tuffy. I have a good kitty. He's a very good boy. We're going to give him some scratches. Good kitty. Good kitty. Good Oreo. Is a track point to Lenovo patent? I'm not sure. Is Framework doing a small upgrade to Ryzen 8000? No clue. Do you always use gloves at work? I used to. Will you stream Dota again? Not in my lifetime, probably. How to get money from zero. Do something valuable for people. Learn a skill. Any recommendations of what model ThinkPad to buy? Used P50 probably. Probably spend a few $100 and get a nice computer. Can any competitions to Google like YouTube versus Rumble? No, nobody cares about those platforms. You know how many comments I get from people saying you should post on Rumble, you should post on Odyssey, that don't even look on those platforms to see that I'm already there with the exact same username? I'm convinced that there's no way to compete with YouTube. They're like nobody, because that's the thing. Even the people that actually use other platforms, even the people that claim they use other platforms don't actually use other platforms. If that's the case, then you're just like it's just hopelessly fucked. Thank you for the video you released today. As a survivor of domestic abuse, I'd much rather pay for my own panini with a man who isn't going to hit me. Thanks for calling out BS. Yeah, you know what? There were two things that I forgot to bring up in that video that I really wanted to. One is like when it comes to safety, I mean, like if I pay for everything, you kind of have to wonder, is there a quid pro quo there? Again, like that doesn't mean there's always a quid pro quo, but it's something you have to wonder. And obviously, the second thing I didn't bring up is the whole white feather thing. I think the thing that really bothered me the most with the video I did today is just that fundamentally that concept of using shaming language to try to get what you want. Again, if you were to say, listen, I didn't like that because my ego and my vanity were hurt as a result of it, I could respect that. I have ego and I have vanity too, and sometimes my emotions get the best of me. Probably more than sometimes, if we're being quite honest. But at least you're being intellectually honest. When you say you made me feel unsafe, it's just like, get the fuck out of here. Because again, you're using shaming language. It's just like that white feather in the cap bullshit they used to try to get people to enlist in the military. You had a time where men were not enlisting in the military at the rate that was desired. So they had women go around to put white feathers in men's caps to essentially, shame them into doing that. Like, here's a message to every other man that you're a pussy. Like the same here. Here's a message. Oh, you didn't pay for a meal? Here's a message to other women that you're unsafe. It's like, just get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be manipulated. Again, if you say that like your ego and your vanity were bruised as a result of this, you didn't feel like you felt poor or you felt bad as a result of it, fine. Unsafe, fuck you. Again, I'm not a good person. I tell you this in every video. You have many videos out there where I say, don't trust me. I don't claim to be like a genius. I don't claim to be very smart. I don't claim to be great at anything. And I don't claim to be somebody that you should even trust or listen to. I try to be honest with you. And I don't expect other people to be perfect or even that great. Really, I don't. I just expect them to be honest. And when you tell me that I didn't feel safe stuff, just get the fuck out of here. You're not being honest. And the thing is, either you're lying to me or you're lying to you. Or you're insane. Like one of the three. Either A, you're lying to me. You know it's an ego and vanity thing, but you don't want to say that because that doesn't sound good. B, you're so pissed off that it doesn't sound good that you've actually lied to yourself and told you it's a safety issue when it's an ego and a vanity thing, because it's easier to make it the man's problem. He made me feel unsafe rather than your problem, because that means you actually have to fix something. And C, you're actually insane. Like, I did not pay for your panini, so you actually feel unsafe, in which case just, seek mental help. Again, that's not an insult. I've encouraged people to seek therapy. I've sought therapy at some point myself. But if you feel unsafe from that, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Can you see this? Obviously. Do you know Daniel Larson? I have no idea who that is. Cody says, I requested my LexisNexis info from them. YouTube chat just scrolled the fuck. Frustrating. It has to be physically mailed, and also kind of scared to see what's in it. Thank you for informing me such data warehousing exists. I want to look that shit up on me and see what they have. I'm actually going to go do that. And love your video today in the panini. Very timely message for today's dating scene. I also can't believe you punched your friend in public. You know what's funny? I know he didn't watch my video yet because I messaged him and I said, I owe you dinner. And he said, no, I actually thought I owe you dinner. And it's like, okay, you haven't seen my video yet. He hasn't seen my video yet. Once he does, he'll get it. Didn't Colorado get the tractor right to repair bill pass? Yes. What's your thoughts on the Z Fold inner screen series breaking for no reason at random? I don't know. I mean, it's a foldable phone. Your voice is dim. Please tune your mic. No, it's fine. Please tune your speakers. Love your videos. Big follower. Quick question. I have to fix the heatsink for a computer that cannot be replaced. How do I solder it or drill it after add liquid to it as it was faulty? I don't know. You still solder? Yeah, sometimes. I actually have to fix the remote to this bed frame that I have, and I don't feel like getting a new one and trying to pair it, so I'm going to try and fix it on camera, probably next week. Don't talk yourself down. You're providing the world good information, joy, and fulfillment for many years. You're invaluable to your community and those outside of it. Keep the good work. Thank you. Bali Music King with the ideologically possessed question. Full-on Bond villain pose with the rocking chair and the kitty. Yeah. I can't hear your voice. The volume's low. No, the volume's fine, bro. It's fine. It's absolutely fine, actually. Yeah, I have a limiter on, so it's fine. I see it peaking. It's good. That's you. Clean the earwax out of your ears. And don't use a Q-tip because the Q-tips actually push it more in. There are these things they have that are like, they're kind of like spirals so that as you push it in and you twist it and it, Oreo, please stop digging your claws into my, you got to stop doing that shit. Anyway, you twist it and it actually like picks up the earwax and then like spirals it out of your ear. But of course, ask your doctor. How do you share files with others? I don't share. Fuck sharing. Even when I go out to dinner with people, I took my girlfriend and her friend out like a week and a half ago, and when I took them out to this nice place, I literally like she was looking at something on the menu and like, oh, I think I'll share some of yours. I'm like, no, I'll buy you it. I'll pay for it and I'll buy it for you. But like, no, I don't. I hate sharing. Like just seeing somebody go in to take something off my plate just makes me want to pick up a butter knife and do this. Name a tech company that would make the world better if it disappeared tomorrow. I don't know about if that's necessarily a case because a lot of the companies that we don't like that do nasty shit, they got to a point where they pushed out every other competitor and now they're the only one making something. So it's one of these things where in a world with a lot of competition at the time, that would have been the case, but now with no competition, if that particular company went away, then you would essentially have like a lack of that service. So for instance, hypothetically speaking, let's say Google went away tomorrow, right? Because there's a lot of things that they do that we don't like. Google Maps is essentially one of the best sources for reviews, sadly, reviews and directories of businesses. So if that went away, we would lose one of the best ways that exists to be able to tell very, very quickly, on average, which businesses provide good service to the community or not. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't like about a lot of the tech companies I talk about, but they genuinely suck the air out of the room for everybody else, and then they wind up being the only one that produces a particular product that's really good at that level. Like, if you got rid of that tomorrow, don't get me wrong, I like organic maps for Android. Great app. I like OpenStreetMaps. Good program. 90% of the businesses that I go to don't even have a listing on there. It's one of those things where we take a lot of time to redo all the work that was... Oreo, you got to stop doing that shit with the claws in my leg. Yeah, NZK, you're more than welcome to just ban them. Don't even time it out. It's a waste of time. Just like, what is your thought on Unreal Engine 5? Don't have any. I'd like to add that watching your videos gives me a start a photography business. A lot of upfront investment in my end, but I think will be well worth it. Cool. Hopefully there's demand for it. I've been keeping and getting old video decks fixed to enjoy the non-changed version of movies. Very cool. I like rewatching Dark City recently. It's just weird dating superstition nonsense, like saying it's a red flag if a guy orders dessert because that means he's secretly gay or something. Is that a thing? I've never heard that. Did you ever buy that LG? No. Don't take things that literally. Despite the hate for Apple, do you think they're... Oh my God, Oreo, stop that. You know what? One moment. Okay, he's scratching me and he's drooling on me. We gotta... One moment. I'll be right back. First thing we gotta do is wipe out the Oreo. Oreo, what are you doing? Why are you... I know that this has nothing to do with your teeth because you just got a dental cleaning, so I know that that's not it. What are you doing, Oreo? You gotta cut this out. The fuck, man? I had to clean his eyes, so I needed to clean my hand anyway. I gotta wash my mouse later, too. I have a microfiber and some nice Uvex cleaning fluid that I use to clean my mouse and my keyboard. I actually clean my mouse and my keyboard a good 2 to 3 times a day. People's keyboards and the handle on the toilet bowl is some of the nastiest shit that you'll ever see. Like, genuinely nasty shit. Nobody cleans that stuff. I try to clean that stuff, though. It's the small things that you notice. Small things you notice. I appreciate having a clean home, clean surfaces, all that stuff. Actually, since I touched the mouse with that, might as well give it a cleaning now since I just washed my hand. Huh? Yes. Nice and clean. Oreo the cat man. Yeah, the clawing me is one thing, but the drooling on top of it, like, what the fuck? Oreo man. All right. Much better. Where'd I leave off? Do you think the laptop's a better engineer than any Windows laptop? Back in the day, no. I think what Apple did back around 2012 and 13 is they decided to start including much better screens in their laptops than 90% of PCs, which is cool. Now with the M1 shit, again, to be clear, liquid resistance, drop resistance, all that stuff, I think that they're still as bad as they were 15 years ago. And in terms of like battery life, processing power, they destroy everybody else now. With the M1, like everything they did with the M1 and the M2, when it comes to battery life, when it comes to processing power, efficiency, everything else like that, I think that Apple laptops genuinely destroy a lot of the competition. Again, like that's different. So there's two different ways to view engineering. It's like durability, longevity, stuff like that. Again, in that regard, I still think that they suck as much as they did like 10 years ago. When it comes to the actual speed, efficiency, battery life, processing power, all that type of stuff, I think that they're absolutely fucking killing it, and they're very far ahead of everybody. Just because I don't like a lot of the things that they do doesn't mean I'm gonna like shit on them at every single turn like a fanboy. Like, don't get to a point where you are a fanboy, where you are ideologically possessed enough to hate everything a company or a person does, or to love everything a company or person does, regardless of the of reality. Kinda, shorty, kinda. In your recent video, you covered car insurance companies getting info from customer car via LexisNexis and adjusted their premiums. Yes, I did. How far off are we from health insurance companies adjusting premiums or data from fitness wearables or tracking alcohol or cigarettes purchased from stores or bars that scan IDs? Honestly, that would almost make more sense than the way they do it with cars. Because again, what they're doing with cars is like they consider it hard braking. Like, let's say the person in front of me gets into a crash, so I hard brake. Like, I'm sorry, am I supposed to crash into them? It's very like that would almost make more sense. Like, adjusting premiums based on me buying alcohol or cigarettes is at least like, I shouldn't say like buying it, maybe drinking it or something. But I mean, health insurance at this point is totally fucked. Like, it should either be going back to where it was 20 years ago or Medicare for all or something. You can't have insurance if you let everybody in. Like, you can't insure somebody's house after it's on fire. Either go back to the way it was, 40 years ago, or do Medicare for all or something. Like, you can't have, like, what we have right now is essentially the worst of both worlds, and it just makes no sense whatsoever. And also, to be clear, I'm not an expert in the area. That's just an off-the-cuff opinion. Oreo's kneading with his claws and drooling is very normal for a happy cat. Please get an Oreo blanket for your lap, and don't discourage Oreo from doing it. Nah, sorry. Clinton doesn't drool on my lap, or scratch. BlackBerry doesn't do that. BlackBerry learn. Like, BlackBerry and Clinton both learn. Like, they do this, and they put a little claw. Oreo, like, digs in like crazy, which is just kind of... I can't do that. No. I'm like, BlackBerry and Clinton don't do that. They're able to control themselves a little bit. I like Oreo. I really do. I do like Oreo, but he got to stop doing that shit. He gets attention from me literally all day. If somebody else is in my house and they're doing work, he will, and they're like on a Zoom call or something, he will literally like scream and scream and scream and scream and cry and claw at them the entire day. It doesn't matter how much attention you give him. You could give him attention for 3 hours, play with him, have his little ball, throw it around, laser, give him food, pet him, scratch him. The second you stop paying attention to him, it's so she winds up having to actually lock him out of the room so that she can have 5 minutes to a meeting. People that are capable of the type of discussion and debate that you and I are extraordinarily rare. I don't know if I'm very capable of debate. I always figure out the perfect thing to say 12 to 18 hours later. I would never be able to do a debate. Like all the stuff that Destiny does, like I would fail 110%. Even if I had the knowledge, I could have the knowledge. I could have all the knowledge and all the information, and I would still fail. I always figure out exactly what to say 18 hours later. Your drink is currently spilling. Well, this chat, it takes me time to read the chat, so by the time I read that, 10 minutes have passed. Thoughts on New York subway and National Guard? I don't know. I don't live there right now. Like, if I lived there, I'd be able to tell you whether it's like a serious problem or just complete bullshit, but I don't live there, so I don't want to pretend. I will talk about the things that I remember that sucked from when I lived there, but I'm not going to talk about that when I'm not actually there. What strategies do you use to build effective teams in your orgs? Does this work out, or what strategy do you get to find people that work well together? Be open to giving everybody a chance, regardless of your first impression, and also make very clear in the beginning that this is not a commitment, and that if it doesn't go well, you're out. Yeah, I guess it's like fast hire, fast fire. Don't keep people that suck, and simultaneously don't not let people in because of criminal history, lack of a degree, or bullshit like that. You know, cast a really wide net and give a lot of people a chance. And after you give a lot of people a chance, keep the people that are good, and just like, you know, I filtered through a lot of people to find the team that I have now. Are you on TikTok? I am not. I do not know how to do TikTok videos and shorts and stuff like that. I see it as a red flag if someone won't split the bill. What other unequal relationship access will they expect from me? Okay, like I'm saying, as it says something about having 5 jobs, which ones do you want to eliminate? Yes. I see it as a red flag if someone won't split the bill. What other unequal? Again, to be clear, as somebody who's paid for almost every date, the thing that just bothers me is the entitlement of it, or like, you know, you pay for every single fucking date you've ever been on, and the one time you don't pay, they get mad. Like stuff like that's the thing that gets me mad. It's not even the not paying. I don't give a shit about that. It's like the sense of entitlement or aggravation, or the idea that it's about something else. Like, it's not that you didn't pay that I got mad. It's not that you didn't pay that made me mad. It's like the lie that people tell themselves. Like, it's not that you didn't pay. It's I didn't feel safe, or I thought this, or I thought that. It's like funny how you thought that when I didn't pay. Like, you know, it's like, as somebody who's paid every single time, I would pay like out of a you know, because like I enjoy providing. Like, again, whether it's for the person I'm with, employees, or anything else. Like, I genuinely take pride in going to Indeed.com, searching for "you break, I fix," and seeing that their store manager is making less than my shipping clerk. But at the same time, yeah, like I don't. It just sucks when it's an expectation. Like, or like, why is it that my company plus money is worth your company? Why can't my company be equal to your company? Because here's the thing. When somebody says, I'm insulted that you didn't pay, like, because that's what the woman said. She said that my client said that I was actually insulted that this man didn't pay. What you're actually saying is, your company has such a low value in contrast to mine that I am insulted that you thought that this was an even exchange. The idea that my company is actually equally valuable to your company is disgusting to me. Your company is worth garbage. So of course you're going to have to add something to the equation to have it be equal to mine. And that's disgusting. Like, I mean, do you, like, in your heart of hearts, do you want to like build a future with somebody that believes that your company is worth less than theirs? Like, suck a dick. No. I mean, don't suck a dick. I don't want this to be clear. Let's suck. You know, that's an expression. It would be literally the opposite. I wouldn't want anything to do with you, sexually, emotionally, relationally, or otherwise. Just get out of here. You know, at the end of the day, the fun part about being with a woman, like the most fun part about a relationship, is that the person you're with actually wants to be with you. Like, that's what it is. That's one of the reasons I never understood men that would beg for sex or try to go out of their way to convince somebody to want to have sex with them or go out with them. One of the reasons I really never understood this is the most fun part about all of this is that the person you're with is actually excited to be with you. So when somebody does or says something that leads me to believe that they believe their company is more valuable than mine, I see that as you're not that excited to be with me. And if you're not that excited, then get the fuck out of here. I'd rather just sit here and pet my cat. Thank you very much. Like, relationships start and relationships end. And it's a sad thing. And dates start and dates end. You know, like, there's going to be a lot of disappointment in life. A lot of people are going to make bad decisions before they make good ones. And there's a lot of heartache along the way. But at the end of the day, I believe that you're better off with somebody that... Your drink spilled. Yeah, no shit. No shit. I know. I don't fucking care. It's been like 10 minutes. I'm sorry. You gave me $2. I appreciate the $2, but I don't care about the drink anymore. Anyway, there's nothing I could fucking do about it. You want me to end the stream so that I can like wash my chair and then dry it with a blow dryer for 3 hours? Like, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Not just you, but the rest of the chat. I'm just taking it out on you because your message showed up on screen. But I mean it for everybody who said that. But like, you know, there's always going to be heartache. There's always going to be mistakes. There's going to be difficult things to work through. But at the end of the day, fundamentally, if you are with somebody that believes that their company is worth more than yours, because again, this is an algebraic equation. My company must come with money to be equal to yours. You're better. Like, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. You're going to want to cry. You're going to not have a good time, especially if this is somebody you've been with for a while. But like, you know, you're worth more than that. You are worth somebody that at the very least sees you as equal. No, that's what I think. Again, as somebody that's always paid for everything, I'm not saying that because I want an excuse to be cheap. I'm saying that just because I want you to have relationships that are healthy. Do you want to have children with somebody that believes that their company is so, that your company is so that is so not valuable that you need to bring all this other shit to the equation to be equal to them? Like it's disgusting. Like, and again, there are going to be people that say, well, you're going to be an incel, or well, you're never going to get a date, or well, this, that, or the other. Like, I guarantee you, all the people that are going to tell you that are people that are going to be old, single, and absolutely fucking miserable. Because the thing is, like, here's the thing I've learned. Life doesn't start fair. Everybody starts in different places. But as time goes on, it doesn't necessarily end in the best of places, but it starts to level out and become fair over time. The type of people that are not only going to value their company as higher than yours, but tell you that you should always, with any woman you're with, value your company less than theirs, like this something tells me that in the long game of life, they're not going to be happy in their relationships, as you would be if you pursue somebody that actually values your company the same as yours. And here's the other thing. When you meet somebody that puts the same value in your company as they do on theirs, you're actually going to want to treat them. You're going to want to spend money on them. You're going to want to impress them. You're going to want to give them the best life possible because they fucking earned it by actually valuing you equally to how they value themselves. Somebody who values themselves more than you, they may get a little bit more out of the beginning. They're going to get more in the beginning. That's going to happen. But in the long run of life, again, something tells me that when they're 60 or 70, they're going to be, they're not going to have somebody there for it. I could be wrong. I've completely ruled out Roku from my entertainment reliability arsenal after your recent video. Now my PC is a third monitor, my TV, and I just watch YouTube through the browser. Yes. The Linux computer attached to a monitor. That is something you can count on. Thoughts on the New York National Subway Guard, already mentioned, don't give a shit. Too bad they're user unfriendly. What's there? I'm still on Intel Note M1 Max yet. I've loosely followed your channel for 10 years. It'd be cool to see you, your channel, and your business grow. So I want to say hi and thanks for the content. Also going to clean my keyboard now and thank you. Thank you very much for the kind words, Bugos. Yep, I got it was very cool because when I started this channel, my business had went up and then my supply company failed and crashed and burned right as I started this channel. And then I started building it up again and then it kind of hit a peak around 2019 and then it kind of went to shit and now it's somewhere on the first floor of my house. But I had a good run. Why do you think that durability sucks? Having a non-liquid resistant screen connector to the motherboard while simultaneously placing the 50-volt backlight line right next to the 1.7-volt data line to the CPU for image so that if it is humid, you now have a computer that sends 50 volts to the CPU, which is soldered onto the board. No liquid resistance whatsoever at this point in time. I mean, I could go on for days, but I find it less interesting. I have done that for 10 years and didn't really, I don't know, nothing changed. More people bought the products and the manufacturer never really changed anything. So I'm not as interested in wasting my time banging my head against the wall going over that shit anymore. Do you daily drive Windows in your home PC? I do not. I have Linux on all of them. I have my framework where I dual boot Linux and Windows, but I just have it for Windows just for when I need Windows programs. How do you handle backups? I back up my stuff. I have many servers and drives and ZFS arrays in my house, and it works for me. With ZFS and RAID and all that. I mean, not RAID, but redundancy. If I have 8 drives, I'll have 3 redundancy drives. It works for me. Why does that keyboard look like it has more keys than a regular keyboard? I'm not sure. How do you deal with employees that hate you and want you gone when all you try to do is get the business to be a respectable standard? I think that it's healthy for there to be a certain level of hatred for employees to the owner because on average, business owners are human, which means they make mistakes. You making a mistake as a business owner means that your employees have to, again, make less money than they would otherwise make if you were doing everything properly. You have authority over them, which is going to cause some low level amount of resentment, even if you're a good leader, even if you're a really good leader that's helping them become the best version of themselves, which again, like most leaders, let's be real, you're probably not. There are some people in John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership that are immediately level 5. A lot of people, I think I've been level 4 or 5 for maybe 2 or 3 people for a short period of time, but not all the time. But there's always going to be there's going to be a small level. If it's a high level, then find new people. But there's always going to be a low level. Even my employees, if my employees didn't have some sort of low level dislike or disdain for me, I would think that was unhealthy. Like there has to be. Like surely there has to be, and you should expect that. Now again, like it being 50 or 80%, like that's different. Particularly when they all want you gone. Now especially when you say get the business to a respectable standard, employees don't actually get to see they don't get to see the bank statements. They don't get to see everything else. And at the end of the day, they may not even be looking at the reviews. So they might not understand it. Like as an owner, because your name is on it, you're always going to see things from the customer perspective of how could we have done things better? How can we provide a better experience? If we provided a better experience, maybe more people would show up, everything like that. They're not going to see it that way. You can find people that do. And I have found people that do. And when you do, hang on to them for dear life. And the people that don't, again, if you have employees that have like a small, low level hatred of you that want you gone, again, this is just that, then you remember what it was like to be an employee, did you not? Were you happier when your boss wasn't there? Like, let's be real. You know that you were happier when your boss wasn't there. I know that I was happier when my boss wasn't there. I sure as fuck know that my employees are happier when I leave the place because, again, it's just common sense. Like, that's the way the world works. And to assume that that's not is just, like, it's being delusional, in my opinion. But the idea here is you can have people that, A, do not even care if the business has a respectable standard, never see it from the customer's perspective because the customer's perspective is what makes you money, and that they genuinely have an 80 to 100% hate for you. At that point, just like, I've done this several times over the course of my like 15 years in business. Like sometimes you just realize the company culture has deteriorated so much, and you have people that they just work off each other and like wind up creating this culture of nobody actually giving a crap about the customer or anything working. And you just got to do a table flip at that point. Like just let everybody go and start from scratch. Again, the same thing as I said with the relationship. Like if you're with somebody that actually like genuinely in their heart and soul believes their company is more valuable than yours, that you're on a different level, it's going to be very difficult to end that relationship, and it's going to be very painful. In the beginning, if it's just a date, whatever. Like again, that dude that did not get called back by that woman that relationship counselor was talking about, that dude, against it was one date, he probably, he didn't get that much grief. He actually saved himself marrying an absolute miserable banshee of a human being. But that can't admit, anything that has been scathed on their own ego and vanity. But if it's something like where it's happened for years, then it's harder. Same thing with the employee. You have to cut that shit at the very beginning because it gets much more difficult to do it as they become deep rooted into the company and you have attachments with them and everything else. You really have to like weed that out in the early days. And again, give other people chances. Like, don't kick people out because they don't have a degree or they don't have 8 years experience or they have a criminal record. Like, genuinely, have a wide net because you really never know what kind of talent you're going to find. But give as many people a chance as possible, but do not have a low standard. Don't keep a low standard. Have a very high standard have a very high standard for performance and behavior. Have a very low bar for what people need to show you to give a chance to them. I guess is what I'm saying. Like I have a very low bar for I will give you a chance, but I have very high standards once you're let in, and that would be my advice in general on building teams and everything else. What are your thoughts on AI? It exists. What are you drinking? This is blackberry vanilla kombucha. One moment. Can you stream a walk through nature? I have a Pixel, and unfortunately these phones don't have real radios, so it's hard to stream from them because they don't have real radios. Google's insistence on not using Qualcomm stuff really fucks them up. I found this channel for the first time from the cock ring repair. That's kind of cool. Got a question bothering me. Is it okay to date a woman older than you by 6 years or maybe more? Okay, in what sense? Like, if you're 40 and you want to have children, then maybe not the best idea. If you're like 20 or 26 or 30, like who really cares? I mean, who am I to even tell you what is right or wrong? That's kind of, it really, that's a you question. That's not something for me. Outside of extremes, of you having very specific wants and extreme situations within those wants, I don't think so. Skeleton Hammer says, I felt the same. If I get the slightest hint a woman is an interest in me, I don't want anything to do with her anymore. I never understand persistent guys. Yeah, I made one mistake in that point in my entire life. Somebody genuinely, I don't know, they fucked me up when I was young by saying, they're just the right thing at just the right time. And, it just kind of destroyed me for later. Like there was this one woman, I'm never gonna forget this. While I was building my own store, I'm going out on a date, just like an absolutely beautiful woman. I'm going out on a date with her, and I'm 30 minutes late. I'm covered in like drywall and sheetrock dust and all this other crap. I look like shit, and I show up to this nice restaurant. This woman's wearing a dress that looks like it's at least $150 to $300. She's absolutely beautiful, put all this effort into herself. I'm 30 minutes late, and she gets up and runs over to me and gives me a giant hug, like Princess Garnet at the end of Final Fantasy IX when she realizes that Zidane is not dead from the leafy tree trying to get Kuja. She gets a giant hug, and I'm like, "You're not mad?" And she's like, "You know, you took time out of your day while you're trying to build a business to support yourself and your family and the people you care about to come see me. How could I possibly be mad at you? Thank you so much for coming to spend time with me." And I'm like appreciation. Appreciation. It was almost like I had been walking through a desert, and like it was 117 degrees for 4 days with no water, and I finally found a cactus filled with water. Like that's what it felt like to get that level of female appreciation. And like admittedly, I kind of wound up. Yeah, I made very stupid decisions after that. But like for the most part, yes. If somebody is not into you, then like don't like being persistent is kind of weird. You have to get some level of interest from somebody before. Yeah, the free workshop's still a thing, or did I miss out? Kind of yes, no. Nobody really uses them anymore, so the desks are kind of, I'd have to straighten them out and stuff. I really thought offering, like saying, here's like $20,000 of equipment. Feel free to come by, use it for free, try to solder, work on your own projects, get advice from my employees. Like, I really thought that was going to go better than it actually did. Very few people actually used it, so I kind of, if you just, you're a nice person. Oh, I don't think so, Matthew. No. I love your outlook on life and the way you care about people. Refreshing, because 99% of people are narcissistic dicks. I wouldn't call myself a narcissist. That's a genuine personality disorder. But I don't, yeah, I don't think I'm that nice either. I remember one date, I had dinner with a lady, and when the bill came and was placed in the middle of the table, she reached out and pushed it towards me. See, again, not picking it up, fine. Pushing it towards you, I don't know. That's so cringy, man. It's so fucking, I don't know what to say about that. It's just, Can we see any new play on Android, iOS versus in smartphone? I don't know. I don't care about that shit. Any recliner brand you recommend? I think it's in the link in the description below. This is Ashley something chair. I don't. All smartphones suck. True, Bali. What's a level 5 leader or boss like? A level 5 leader or boss is somebody. Okay, so yeah, there's several levels. There's A, like I'm a boss because it says so on my name tag. That's level 1. That's bullshit. Like nobody respects you because you have a name tag. Fuck that. Number 2 is I have done my job to a really good standard. Fix my headset with 3D printed parts. Good times. Very cool. Yeah, like so. The second thing is the second thing I would say level is like I've accomplished something. I've accomplished something great. A third level I would say is I've accomplished something that helps everybody in my department. So like everybody in my department now has an easier job, has an easier life, makes more money, whatever else. Level 4 is I showed other people in my department how to do what I do. So rather than other people in my department have to rely on me, like come to me all the time, instead of me being God, I teach them how to fend for themselves. And after I teach them all how to fend for themselves, they can now relive my success on their own. Level 5 is when the people that you have taught how to do what they do, you've taught them so well that you've mentored them so well that they are now able to mentor other people in the manner that you have. So now, again, when you're successful, you really only kind of get to live that success once. I became successful. When you teach somebody else how to become successful, now you get to relive that vicariously through them, and it's so much more fun. So once you teach that other person that you've taught how to do something, essentially once those people know how to do that for everybody else, once you allow the person that you're mentoring to feel that same feeling of teaching other people how to do what they do and vicariously living through them, that's level 5 in my opinion. So like level 5 is you've done work that's really good, that helps everybody in your system do better, either, again, provide better for people, make more money, have less work to do, have everything be easy. You teach them how to do that themselves. So if you were not present, the organization would run exactly as it would with you present, and then they are able to do that for other people. That's level 5. For Inaz, you recommend they build a Linux server. Yes. What hardware and disk would you recommend? For Image, Home Assistant, Pi-hole, FreeGate. Hardware, whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. Build a computer. I use this. Let me see if I have a picture of the case that I use. Like in terms of like hard drive, I'm not going to go. I got some Seagate Exo shit off of Newegg while they were cheap. It was like $100-something a drive for these 18 or 20 terabyte drives. But like in terms of which one is the best, I have no fucking clue. Like you're asking the wrong guy there. In terms of it, let me see if I have a. Did I save my bookmarks for all this? I think I may have thrown them away, and if I did, I'm gonna be pissed. I got this Rosewell case that I kind of liked. Usually Rosewell is absolute garbage, but this one case was kind of cool. One sec, my bookmarks are kind of a mess right now. I have folders for everything, but all the folders, like Mozilla does it so that the folders can be under a bookmark rather than all the folders and then the bookmark. So it's kind of, I'm 99% certain I got rid of that. Anyway, let me see. One of the things that I got that I like. I mean, you know, it's Rosewell, so like don't expect the internal construction to not be shit because it kind of is. But let's see, where did I get, which case is mine? Yeah, so this is the one that I got. This thing is cool. I think I paid like $324, $325 for it. So it has 3 big fans over here. So your drives are getting cooled, which is important in my opinion. You have 12 hot swappable drives. So 12 hot swappable bays, and then you have 2 big fans in the back. Not too big, 2 average size fans, 80 millimeter. Mine are screaming. I think mine are like 4,000 RPM or something, and like 25 or 300 RPM in the front. But it's, you know, this thing is not sitting anywhere where I'm going to hear it anyway. So this is a pretty good case in terms of the hardware and everything else you want. Like, you know, you do you. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's Legos. I'm not going to tell you how to build your Legos, but I like this. So I have 12 drives in there right now, and out of it, like I have 8 drives in there right now, and 3 are redundancy, so like 3 of those can fail and I'm still good. And I'm going to add 4 drives for the camera system at some point. I'm old, single, and miserable because I'm weird and a symptom of being human by Shine Down is my new anthem. My whole thing was cycling, so I graduate without any social or emotional degree. I graduate without any social or emotional degree. I'm not quite sure what that means. I'm sorry. It's a pleasure to catch you live. Enjoy your channel and your unfiltered commentary. You inspire me as an entrepreneur and to be critical of tech companies. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I wrote that you're my role model in college essays because you stand up for what you believe in. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I don't know if I am worth looking up to, but I appreciate it. How many takes do you typically do? What about earlier videos? Most of my videos are one take. The only reason that I have edits is because my cat will yell at me or jump on the screen. But for the most part, these videos are one take. Anytime that there's an edit, it's usually that my cat has interrupted the video. If like, the thing is essentially anytime I'm not paying attention to the cat during the daytime, like not the nighttime, but during the daytime when they're awake, there's usually hell to pay. This is right about the dating stuff. It's like chasing money at a casino. Deeper you go, the harder it is to quit. Kind of. Who is Lois? Do you think it is still viable to start an electronics repair business? I'm in college and thinking. What kind of electronics are you looking to fix? I'll be 100% honest. To be clear, I have a conflict here because on one hand, I do not want to project my failure onto others, but at the same time, I do not want to also falsely give you the idea that the path I followed in 2008 is relevant in 2024. A lot of the times when people give you business advice or life advice, they're very often giving you advice on like what made sense in 1999. In 1999, it made sense to do this, but now it's 2015, so it doesn't really make sense anymore. So I personally would not enter this as a profession in 2024. Even back in 2015, 2017, 2018, I felt good about the prospect of other people getting into the field. Now, ugh. I mean, again, there's just a multitude of things. Like, A, less parts available now than there were 15 years ago. B, the parts that are available are usually more expensive and used rather than being cheaper and new. C, inflation. Again, like a lot of these electronic devices have really not gone up in price over the past 15 years, but cost of living has, which means it's going to be harder to find good people because you're not going to be able to pay them salaries commensurate with, with cost of living. And there really is a ceiling at some point. You know, like I do see people that are killing it, that are absolutely killing it. Again, like You Break, I Fix, sold to Ashurian. Whoever the fuck started You Break, I Fix is living way better than me. At the same time, when I look up You Break, I Fix on Indeed.com, store manager, like 38, 40,000 a year. It's like, again, like I don't, that's not the way I want to roll. When I look at the people that are doing way better than me, like part of it is, okay, yeah, they're doing some things right that I'm not doing. But at the same time, when I look at what they're doing and what they have to do to get there, it's like, I don't even want to do those things in order to, I don't know, it's just fundamentally, I would not even want to do that stuff. Like, what are your thoughts on YouTube search becoming horribly inaccurate? I haven't found that. I feel like my life is falling apart. I've been failing at school and stuff and just failing at everything. Got any advice? I would seek a therapist and try to be as honest with yourself as humanly possible. Therapy is usually only helpful if you want to be completely honest with yourself. What are you going to school for? What do you want to do at school? When you say I'm failing at school and stuff and everything, so like you're kind of piling on there. So school, like are you failing at school but then beating yourself up over that because that's so important that you add and stuff and everything so that you have a reason to make yourself feel worse? Or can you actually define what everything and stuff is? I don't understand. Why don't you just make your own smartphone brand? Why don't you just have more money? Why don't you just be a billionaire? Yes. Why don't you just be a billionaire? The appreciation story hit real close with how relatable it was. Yeah, I think she kind of like when I look back on it, I was stupid. You know, like I was a dumbass 22-year-old. I got love bombed. After I got love bombed, I got owned. I learned my lesson for next time. You know. Wonder why people have that weirdly curved soldering tip. And I started soldering, easy to get into components while soldering. Yeah, well, the thing is, you got to try every tip possible besides conical. I don't know why they default to conical. It makes absolutely no sense. I think conical tips are garbage. Why does HP make the insides of their computers so that it's like a maze and only a tech can fix or replace things? How much of HP stuff is actually made by HP versus some other company that made it for them? I'm very curious. Do you encourage or discourage ad blockers? I encourage ad blockers, just make sure you get a good one. I think that uBlock Origin is a pretty good ad blocker for Firefox there. And I also like, again, I to be clear, I would use OPN Sense if I knew how immature the PF Sense people were. My bad, my mistake. I didn't, but I already use PF Sense right now, and setting that shit up from scratch is just fucking miserable. So there's PF Blocker NG. I also use that. If you use PF Sense as a VPN and you on your Android phone, essentially you'll wind up not seeing a lot of ads because it gets blocked at not just the DNS level, but also the IP address level of known IP addresses and also known domain names of ads. So I would say a combination of PF Blocker NG and uBlock Origin is a really great combination. Feel free to use your own and experiment with the ones that you like. The ones that I like aren't necessarily going to be good for you. I'd encourage ad blockers. You know, I actually used to pay $40 a month for Bloomberg.com for news because I'm an idiot that actually pays for fucking content and value. I click onto a video and there is a 1-minute unskippable ad. And I'm just thinking, you motherfucker. So there's this article that's only available as a video. So if I want to actually understand the article, I literally have to watch the video because the article is a video. And there's a 1-minute unskippable ad on shit that I paid $40 a month for. I'm using archive.is to read every fucking article on your site, and I'm never paying you again. So there's two problems. A lot of the ads are scams, spam, and bullshit. B, my time is worth too much to read a fucking ad. C, even after I fucking pay you, you put ads in the shit anyway. So, like, yeah, by all means, ad block away. I don't care. Citizen guy, she did, but then I never was able to speak to her again because of Alzheimer's, unfortunately. Yeah, like again, you know, on YouTube, I make money on YouTube off of people watching ads. That is the way you make money on YouTube, and I am telling you to install an ad blocker. Make of that what you will. Thoughts on an NVR using Blue Iris? I couldn't stand Blue Iris. I don't remember why. I was just navigating Blue Iris. Was miserable. I did not enjoy it. To be clear, I haven't used it in 10 years, but I just remember trying to use it 10 years ago and realizing I couldn't view multiple cameras at the same time. So like, let's say somebody's walking from this room to this room. And to be clear, this could have been updated. This is old, like 10 years old experience. If somebody's walking from this room to this room, I would literally have to reload the camera instead of just watch the person walk from this room to this room by having multiple cameras on at the same time while I am watching archive video. That drove me nuts. So like, if somebody walked from here to here, okay, got 1 sec, gotta go back, change to a new camera, remember where I was, And then they walk back here. Fuck, I got to go back. Like, essentially, don't install camera software that's so bad that when you get ripped off for $5,000, you're okay being ripped off for $5,000 more than you are using the camera software. Like, where it's actually worth losing $5,000 just to not have to use the shitty camera software. I don't think people think about that enough when installing camera systems. If you get camera systems that are bad enough, you'll actually think it's better off to just let people rob you and steal from you than to have to figure out how to use it. I like FreeGate. I think FreeGate is good. Please consider running for office someday. No, I don't. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to hate my life. Why don't you watch my ads on our first date? Do you recommend VPNs? What do you want the VPN for? What's the point of it? If you want a VPN so that you can access your home server without exposing it to the internet with open ports, a VPN's a great idea. If you believe that a VPN means that you have an offsite backup. No, I don't. For some stuff I do, for some I don't. How do you access files when not home? I connect to it. How do you edit Word or Excel files in your phone? I don't do that. I just have text files. I don't have a real job, so I don't have to use Word or Excel and stuff like that. People with real jobs have to edit Word and Excel files. I don't have a real job, haven't had a real job for like 17 or 19 years. I am completely incapable of getting a real job, as I've learned many, many times over the past 15 to 17 years, so I don't have to care about Word and Excel. I can use text files, because, let's see. Yeah, if there are people that actually, again, so many people on YouTube shill VPNs for privacy and not letting tech companies get your data. It's like, are you serious? Like, when you log into Facebook with your full name, like, if I log into Facebook after telling Facebook, my name is Louis Rossmann, my email is louis@rossmann.com or something, and then I log into Facebook, how can you tell me that a VPN is going to stop them from my data? Like, are you serious? Really? Really? Like, you don't understand browser cookies. You don't understand the fact that they already have my name. I mean, like, the IP address is only a very small part of it. VPNs have a lot of very genuine uses. The problem is that people on YouTube that enjoy the, $3,000 to $10,000 a month in ad revenue money, that let it go to their head, are okay advertising VPNs falsely and pretending they're useful for shit that they're not. If you want a VPN because you need to pretend that you're in California or Florida or Brazil in order to utilize a service, a VPN's great. If you're setting up your own VPN at home so that you can access your home network when you're not at home so that you don't have to forward ports and you want a more secure solution, a VPN is great. If you actually believe that having a VPN means that when you log in to Jason, I don't know, I'm just going to grab a random name off the screen, JasonEverett@gmail.com, that they're not going to be able to profile you based on your name and the sites you visit and the shit you click when you allow 100% of the cookies in your browser without ever rejecting the bad ones, and you don't have, and you're using Chrome browser and you're not using a browser that has anti-fingerprinting or whatever. Like, a VPN is not going to do shit there. They're still going to know everything about you. The problem I have with VPNs fundamentally is that there's nothing wrong with VPN. It really isn't. The problem I have, it's easier to set up than WireGuard by far, at least with the shit router that I have. Like, setting up WireGuard on pfSense versus VPN, oh my God, what a nightmare. But anyway, like, it's that a lot of the people on YouTube that shill VPNs, they're advertising them with this false sense of security that is not even what they're designed for. It's not what they do. And it's like, I don't like the fact that people are willing to spend $8 or $10 a month thinking I'm sticking it to big tech by not giving them access to my disk. No, you are. They still know everything about you. They're still able to profile you completely. You're not saving yourself at all. Just because you connect to Facebook as Louis Rossmann with louis@rossmann.com with my birthday and everything else the same, and I'm posting shit and they can see my posts and they can see what I click and they can see what I'm interested in as I'm logged in, and then the cookies that they have in my browser, because I let all of the cookies in, allow me to track everything I do across every other site. But my IP address is different. Come on. Just come on. Like, every time I listen to that stuff, honestly, every time I see a VPN get shilled, if they get shilled so that you can use Netflix from another country, fine, cool. If it gets shilled for all that bullshit, I shut off the video and I never watch their shit again. Can you make a living off YouTube alone? Probably not. Probably not. Not enough viewership, not enough CPM, not enough views per video, not enough viewers per live stream, and above all, I tell my audience to use AdBlock. Like, I literally encourage you. My best viewed videos on this entire channel are videos where I am telling you to use an ad blocker. Let's say I would just go over this stream. Like, I have 675 live stream viewers right now. When I used to do random live streams at the end of 2015, early 2016, I would get about 650 live viewers. So when I had 40,000 subscribers, I would get 650 live viewers. And now that I have 2 million subscribers, I get 675 live viewers. So after gaining 1.96 million subscribers, I've gained 20, you know, like the numbers don't add up. Like, don't get me wrong. It's cool to have the 2 million subscriber number. If I actually gave two shits of a fuck to try to promote this channel to sponsors, I could go, we have 2 million subscribers. But, you know, it's like it's a fake number because at the end of the day, the results, at least the viewership and the results are very similar, if not identical, to the results that I had when I had 40K. I wouldn't really see YouTube as a job per se. Now, YouTube can be a job. People say YouTube is not a real job. When I was sitting there creating videos on how to fix stuff, I'm teaching people. I'm teaching hundreds of thousands of people how to do something that makes them money and makes customers happy. If I were sitting in a classroom of 20 people charging money, well, that's a job. If I teach 100,000 people how to do something, well, that's eBay. I don't know. You know, that part is bullshit. Like, you know, YouTube can 100% be a job. And there are, but like the reason I guess I didn't see it as a job when I was doing it is because I was essentially doing my job that like, I was literally just doing my job and filming it. So I didn't feel like I was doing an extra job. Like the editing was, you know, extra stuff like that. But for the most part, I was doing my job and just talking as I did my job. So I didn't see it as a second job. So it's not that YouTube cannot be a job. It's just like for me, I don't really consider it one. I think I have to be better at making videos to turn it into a job. Excuse me. What keyboard are you using? This is a Logitech. Where's the model? Logitech K350 from like 10 years ago or so. You play video games? Nah. What's your main browser? Firefox. Clinty, come up here. Have you ever seen the 80s comedy Trading Places? If not. What antivirus programs do you suggest using? Oh. Have you heard anything about Samsung bricking the A53 5G by disabling the touchscreen if you replace the screen? I replaced the screen months ago, but a recent update bricked it. Send me some details. Like, send me as many details as you can on that, Paul. Lewis@rossmanngroup.com. If you send the email by spelling my name right, I will read it. How do you feel about in-video promotions by content creators? I'm fine with it. Like, they got to make money somehow if they're doing this shit. Listen, like, I am not doing this for a living. If I was doing this for a living with the amount of people that use AdBlock, I would 100% like stuff the video with ads. I don't mind an occasion for some content creators, but I don't like garbage companies bypassing AdBlock features or premium. I mean, at the end of the day, they're doing it because like a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, they just want the money. And like, let's be real, you know, if you were in their position, you would probably too. Like, it's easy for me to say I don't do it, but simultaneously, like, who the fuck is going to advertise on this channel? Like realistically speaking, I'm not gonna have people want to advertise in this channel. It's just not gonna happen. Like, nobody wants to advertise in this channel. No company that is sane wants to associate their brand with my name. I'm a man, after all the right to repair shit I did, I can't get a customer service job at Framework. Like, fundamentally speaking, at any level, no company that is sane would ever associate their products, their company, their services with this YouTube channel. So it's easy for me to say, like, I'm not going to have ads on here because, like, again, like, who the fuck is offering to advertise here anyway? But the point is, even though you find ads annoying, if you were getting offers to make $10,000 a month, which again, like, once you get high on YouTube, $10,000 a month to do a shout out every now and then is not really that unheard of. You'd probably change your mind. Like, even if you find ads annoying, even if you found a company annoying, if they offered you enough money, you would probably change your mind. And there's a video that I did about this a really long time ago. Let me see if I could find it. It's a good video. I think it was a good video. One moment. I'm going to try and find it here. So, let's see if I still have it up. Hopefully I didn't unlist it or something. Here we go. So I said becoming a sellout should be an option for you. And what I mean in this video is even if you don't sell out, even if you have no intention of selling out, you should always conduct yourself and your business and everything you're doing so that you have the option to. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying that you should have something to sell. Even if you don't plan on selling out, there should at least be something there to sell. So yeah, like I don't. What was I saying? Yeah. I would guess you make more money from Super Chat than ads. I have YouTube Premium. So when you're talking about this as a living, let's see. Yeah, again, like don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anybody, every time I see something show up there, thank you. Highly appreciative. Like it a lot. God bless you all. You know, I don't think I deserve it, but I'm happy. But the $38. Like to be clear, happy, grateful, humbled, honored. Thank you. But yeah, like I just don't see this as a way to make a living. I don't. Like, $38 is going to be $38 is probably brunch. $38 is the minimum to not be considered unsafe by a date in 2024. I use Proton because it allows open port for torrenting. That's cool. What do you think of ripping music from services like Tidal or Qobuz for local playback, or sometimes just from music from the service? I mean, at that point, just buy the album and just rip it yourself. Clinty. I'm gonna move this. You can jump up. Clinty. Yo, come on, jump up. Come on, jump up. Come on, you can jump up to steal the food, so I know. You can jump up to the top of that fucking cabinet, so I know you could jump on my chair. I know you don't have arthritis. Thoughts on time change? Don't get it. Firefox for life? True. Supreme Court of Canada recently ruled that if the police want IP addresses from ISP, they must obtain a warrant. Previously, a warrant was not required. That sounds like progress. That's pretty cool. Civil liberties. Nice. I'm a big fan of civil liberties. VPN is only good for changing geolocation. Again, or accessing your local network. It's useful for that. But just like, I can't stand fucking YouTube influencers that pretend that VPNs are a way to like protect your privacy online or like stop Facebook from taking your data. Just get the fuck out of here. Like, I hate the fact that they're taking computer illiterate people and taking their money and giving them a false sense of security. You shouldn't give people a false sense of security. That makes me sick. You should educate people. But again, just to be clear, just to be on the same page. Actually, no, I take that back. I did decline $3,000 or $6,000 from NordVPN back in 2019. So yes, I have had that money dangled in front of me and said no. But again, if it was dangled in front of me regularly, again, it's been dangled in front of me like 3 fucking times in 12 years. But if it was dangled in front of me every day, I don't know. Like I'm human. I'd probably sell out. But I don't think I have anything to sell right now. Reminder: if you want to buy your own home and hate how much New York people hate people like Lewis, this is just ideologically possessed copy pasta. The New York City roasting video was excellent. Which one? I have many. Who do you recommend for real news on YouTube? I would recommend not getting your news from YouTube, but that's... YouTube is cancer now. This program is cool with human rights abuses and will silence you for speaking out against it. It depends on what you consider human rights abuses. Lots of people think that is a different thing. Do you use a hardened Firefox with add-ons? Just normal Firefox with some shit added to it. The best speakers for music at home. Used Vandersteen Model 2s. You can get those for like $400. They are phase coherent. They have a really good frequency response. They have, one of my favorite things about them is that they don't have baffles. And they barely even have cabinets, which means you get really, really good sound because it's very natural. Once you hear what a speaker sounds like that doesn't have a giant baffle and a giant cabinet, it's really hard to go back to anything else. And you can get a set of Vandersteen Model 2s because, like, again, don't get me wrong, the higher end models are better, but they're not like 8 or 20 or 30 times better. And you can usually get them for really, really cheap. Like a Vandersteen Model 2, I remember getting those things for like $400 back in the day. Yeah, like, here we go. Look at this. Like, look at this. This is cheap as shit. $400 for something like this. It goes down to like 27 hertz linearly. And you get that with like a decent old receiver for like $100, and bam, a couple of acoustic panels, and you've got something that beats most setups very cheaply. Let's see. So let me find this here. Yeah, to be clear, I don't usually go to Stereophile. This is absolute, like, I just can't deal with websites. Actually, no, this is the wrong one. Where was I? What am I looking for? Yeah, like websites that think that you can hear differences in speaker cable just like are fucking cringe to me. But look, you got a pretty fair frequency response there. You don't have any of that bullshit low bass bump that all the bullshit speakers do to make you think they have bass. These actually have bass. Look at that shit. Linear to fucking 30 hertz, bro, without a cabinet. That's amazing. And what else? Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much for the $11.99 pull-ins. But that's not even the best part. Are you ready for the best part? Are you ready for the sex on a stick right here? Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that face coherent right there. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's some engineering right there. Yeah, you look at something like this, and it's just not the same. It's just not like, look at this. This shit will cost you like 10 times as much money. This literally is like 10 times as much money. Oh, what the fuck is that? Ew. Ew. Gross. Puh. Hey, to be clear, don't read the rest of this website. It'll rot your brain. This website literally thinks speaker cables sound different. Literally just go there for this. Look, this is whatever you get with every other fucking speaker. Look, what the fuck is this? What the actual fuck is this? Like, what are you doing to the bass? Why are you giving me this fake shit? If I want this shit, I will turn the fucking bass up myself. Thank you very much. I don't need you adding this shit. This is what you get with most speakers. And look, and then like they have fake bass because it drops off early. Vandersteen, bam. This is real bass right here. This is the real shit. Look at this. Look at this. Fuck, they fucking down at 20, like 30 hertz, minus 0 dB. Fucking amazing, bro. Anyway, yeah, just buy a nice, again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get high-end audio. You got to be willing to buy used. You got to be willing to buy stuff that kind of looks a little ugly. And above all, you have to be willing to do a little bit of research. But that's some natural sound right there. Some real natural sound. I have a set of Vandersteen Model 3A signatures I got for, I think, $1,100 or $1,800 open box a long time ago that are worth probably like $5,000 now. And I have a set of TLCS 3.6s at the store. They have minorly different sound signatures, but for the most part, they have a lot of the same principles. Man, this shit, yeah. I'm not going to tell you to spend all the money that you save on not spending $10,000 on speakers, you're going to spend that on acoustic panels for your room. Acoustic panels are going to make a very big difference. Don't have a garbage room. A garbage room is going to make up for any type of speaker that you use. Congrats on 2.04 million subs. Thank you, Cubby. It's very hard to believe that that's actually a real number. I shouldn't say real number, an accurate number based on the viewership in general. But thank you. Are there places I can go to for business advice? Find business people that you look up to. Find mentors that are doing things that are similar to what you're doing. This channel is not brand safe. That's. I get to be clear. I don't blame brands that do not want to sponsor anything on this channel. I do not blame them. That is normal. That is sane. That is rational. I'm just saying. Nightshade Hellas is just spamming at this point. Oh, I love my mods. You know what I love? When I see garbage in the chat and I go to hide it and I saw that somebody else already did. I have quality mods. I'm a law school student and gave a presentation about 1201 in my copyright class. Class members seemed to think right to remain made sense. You're the reason I'm in law school and do IP law. Thank you, Will Barclay. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. See, here's the thing. Like, I really believe that legally, I feel like I've failed. And in the short term, I have definitely failed. Like, for the most part, again, like, I'm realistic about myself. You know, you can lie to the world, you can't, as Eli the computer guy would say, you could lie to the world, you can't lie to yourself. Are you reading from YouTube chat? No, I'm reading from my schizophrenic brain. What the fuck else do you think I'm reading from? Like, you can lie to the world, you can't lie to yourself. And for me, I'm very happy with a lot of the shit I've accomplished, but at the end of the day, like, literally less shit is available now than was available when I started. I could buy screens and chips and all types of shit when I started that I can't buy now. But what really excites me is people like you that make me realize that, excuse me, I'm just grabbing a burrito real quick. The rest of my burrito from earlier because I'm kind of hungry. Is that I didn't waste all my time. That planting a seed for the next generation means that I did not waste all of my time with my pursuits and all the things that I was doing. And that feels good. Oh, thank you. Like, that makes me, because like every now and then it's kind of easy to believe that I wasted my time. I didn't win. I tried. I failed. And that stuff can get to me. But I think that, like hearing stuff like that makes me happy. So thank you very much to the dude who said that he's thought about becoming a lawyer from this channel and that he's actually presenting stuff to the class and all that. That's cool. One moment. I'm just going to be eating the rest of this burrito and then I will be right back. I wouldn't consider YouTube a stable living off of because I wouldn't trust that YouTube themselves wouldn't do something dumb that screws content creators. Yeah, like again, Eli the computer guy has had his channel deleted in the middle of a stream several times. So at 1 million subscribers. So I do not consider this safe. When you see like anything like 3D Print General or anything like that, I would never consider this safe. Logitech K350. It's a really old one that I got about 10 years ago, and I drop every day, and it still works. Since Linus did the big flop of selling intellectual property, I stopped watching all his videos. I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean selling intellectual property? Watching, click, movie. Context, magical universal remote that can control life. Goes wrong, direct quote. It's not a malfunction, it's a feature. I appreciate the $5 and thank you very much, but it's very difficult for me to know what that means. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just because it's late, but I can't decode that sentence. But thank you for the $5, but I'm sorry I don't understand what you said. Why don't you just take their money and tell the truth about VPNs and your ads? Well, usually what they do is they want to pay after you make the video, and also they want to see the video before they pay you. So that's a big part of the problem, or else I would consider doing something like that. That's definitely something I've thought about. Don't get it twisted. You know, I would be open to doing something like that. I would be happy. Like I remember Zoom contacted me about wanting to sponsor something right as they like changed their terms to some massively fucked up shit, and I used it as an opportunity to do a video on Jitsi, which I thought was much better. However, I did not get paid from Zoom for that. But yeah, this channel is not brand safe. Mozilla is not a great organization at the moment, sadly, in my opinion. Listen, every company makes their mistakes. Every company does some fucked up shit. I would take Mozilla off of using stock Chrome. One moment, burrito time. Just got to finish this thing. Oh, that's good. I bought this when I was on my way to Mason, Texas. Focus, you piece of Fathead Spices Sizzling Steak Sauce. There's a place when I was on my way to Mason, Texas. Here we go. Made especially for Fathead Spices, Mason, Texas. Let's see if it has an address or a phone number or anything on there. Yeah, read this. This stuff is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I took my girlfriend to Mason, Texas randomly. While we were on the way there, I actually found some like $40 million mansion in the middle of nowhere in this giant, beautiful piece of land by a lake. We just walked through and pretended that we were interested to be customers of. It was kind of funny. But yeah, Mason was really nice. But that steak sauce is absolutely amazing. Like no sponsorship, no bullshit, no ads. Just try it out. Fathead Spices. I love this thing. It turns everything I eat into something better. LibreWolf is an open source version of Firefox and has better default privacy settings. I forget what it was that LibreWolf was missing that I wanted. Juan Vandersteen Model 2 will get soon. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're not the best, but again, you get some really cool stuff with them. Lewis audiophile confirmed. I don't really know if I want that label. Audiophile tends to be associated with people that believe that there are differences in speaker cables. Like, you know, I have a good set of 14 gauge short speaker cables that are high quality. That's fine. Like you're not like buying real speaker cables is not going to do anything. Audiophile tends to get associated with people that honestly, I think the biggest part was when I started reading people that were debating people on hydrogenaudio.org back when they were called that were saying, I forget the debate, it was something like ABX tests in general. Like they were actually declining to do ABX tests. So an ABX test is as follows. Let's say if you claim you can tell the difference between a 300 kilobit per second Opus file and a WAV file, it's very easy to tell yourself you can tell the difference because you can bullshit yourself. There's no way to prove it. An ABX test would be A is the WAV file, B is the Opus file at 300 kilobit per second, and X is it could randomly be either or. You don't know. And you have to be able to tell 12 out of 16 times which is which in order for it to be considered that you actually knew the difference. So if you claim that you can tell the difference between these two speaker cables, or you claim that you can tell the difference between this a $10,000 Krell and a $300 what's the word, like Adcom, okay, let's prove it. And when I saw people who were like legit high-level, quote, audiophiles, end quote, saying, I'm not even going to do it, not I can do it and I'll win, but I don't even think that's a real way of testing, like that's when you realize just so much of it is bullshit. Audiophile to me are people that are willing to spend $5,000 on a speaker cable, $10,000 on an amp that have completely untreated walls in their home. It's just, for me, audiophile means you focus on all the wrong shit just because it makes you feel good. For me, I don't do that. Like, I spent more money on acoustic treatment than I did on my speakers. I spent more money buying eggs today than I did on my speaker cables. You know, like an audiophile would look at my setup and be made sick. I care about performance. I care about real-world sound. I don't give a shit about all the audiophile bullshit. I would say that I am a high-end audio connoisseur. I would say I'm a hi-fi audio connoisseur, but I would not call myself an audiophile. That term has been destroyed. Have you visited Dallas since you moved to Austin? Only once to go to a university for recruiting a long time ago from my boss. I sent you a link to the guy who drove 100,000 miles in a Tesla Model 3, but as he passed the end of warranty, the battery needs to be replaced. Could the sudden end of the battery be software? I saw that email and I bookmarked it, but I haven't actually had time to watch it yet. And it says a sponsorship by Unipack Power. You know, we had that. We had a sponsorship for Unipack Power. We got 2 videos on them. You have a LinkedIn profile. I do. It's kind of useless. I should actually delete that shit. I made that thing a long time ago, but like it's kind of useless. Like people like me don't get real jobs. What is your opinion on people who believe they own digital content when they actually only own a digital license they revoked at any time for any reason? You know, it depends on how it was explained to them. Like, is it set up front or is it on page 21 of a EULA? Like, if you do what Sony did, where you use the word purchase on the product page, but then it's on page 21 of a 30-something page EULA, then I just feel like you're EULA roofing them. And if all of your content winds up getting pirated, I really have no sympathy or empathy for you because, you know, you tried to stick the tip into them, and you know, fine, they wound up sticking the tip into you. You know, like sucks to suck. Karma's a bitch. But you know, I try to deal with my customers in an honest way, and I don't like people that try to abuse their customers or deal with them in a dishonest way. Are you familiar with VMware selling to Broadcom and ending perpetual licensing? I think I did a video on that a while ago. I think people might be confused where you're reading because there's a delay. There's not a delay. It's just it takes time to read shit. I can't read all this shit at the same time. I'm not the fucking guy from the I'm not the guy from the Advil commercial that's reading the side effects at the end. You know, I can't do that. Why does every single mouse have to be a clamshell? I use a trackball and I use a track point on my laptop. What time is it now? It is 10:28, and I'm reading a comment from 10:23. What is you got in the burrito? Steak, rice, no beans because the place I got it from only has refried beans, which are disgusting. And guacamole, some pico de gallo, some other cool shit. This is good. How come the chair is talking? Because I'm eating a burrito. Audiophiles tell you they could hear differences between pure analog audio and digital audio, even when their favorite analog company was using some digital processing without them noticing. Yeah, I don't know. I can't do the audiophile shit. I like high-end audio. I really do. But I'm not doing like the audiophile bullshit. We're getting bicycle streams like in New York City. I gotta fix my bike, man. I gotta fix my bike. I got too many things on my plate, and I kind of fuck myself there. What reasonably priced headphones for a student would you recommend? If you want, I don't know. I would say, I forget the name of the company that makes these really good cheap IEMs. Is it Moondrop, Moon something? I forget. I mean, I kind of show Shure just because for 20 years they've always covered things way outside of warranty. I get it for the price. You could get better IEMs. Back in the day in 2004, you had Idiomatic and Shure sounded better and was much better with regards to like them breaking. Like the Idiomatics used to break much easier. And also but the thing is that like, I don't know, like the amount of shit that Shure did for warranty for me, even before I had any subscribers, I've just kind of become a fanboy of them for that reason. Like, you know, SE225, SE425, you can always get them used and just clean them off. Obviously, you got to clean them off. I'm not putting shit in my ear that other people put in their ear. That's nasty without some cleaning. My boomer-ass dad loves your YouTube. I introduced him to you after he expressed hatred for the split of movie companies into their own BS segments. I taught him how to tore a net or whatever. Like, I don't know. Make sure he's not uploading stuff. I love that you're doing a raw live stream instead of video being scripted. Man, the closest I've ever gotten to scripting is having bullet points on the monitor for something, but usually I just wind up glancing and then reading off anyway. I can't really do scripts. Don't forget us little people when you get 2 million subs. Refried beans are a crime against humanity. I don't know, the entire idea of pig fat being in beans is just weird. How do you feel about the TikTok ban? I did a video on that a year ago, and I genuinely feel like I covered everything there is to cover. Like, a lot of people have asked, why don't I do a follow-up to it? You know, you're a pussy, why are you not talking about TikTok? It's like, I genuinely did this already. I did 3 videos on the entire TikTok thing. I read there's one video I did on the live channel where I spend 2 or 3 hours reading the entire legislation front to back, and then I cut it out into a shorter video, 30 or 40 minutes on the main channel. When you say she's love bombed, was she being manipulative, or was it your reaction to that that was wrong? I think she was being manipulative, but the thing is, I don't think it was something that was being done like intentionally. I think it was done as a habit. I didn't learn until like 9 or 10 years later that person had kind of suffered severe child abuse. So in a way, I kind of wound up dodging a bullet. So it's one of those things where, because of the childhood that I had, I have an infinite level of sympathy and empathy for people that went through that kind of shit. But at the same time, I can't, just because I have sympathy or empathy doesn't mean, like, it's not my job to fix you. It's not my job. Like, it doesn't mean that I need to, put myself in a situation where I'm not going to be happy, or I'm going to feel like crap, or like I have a respect. Like, you can't fix people, So yeah, but I believe that I don't believe that it was I want to manipulate people to fuck with them kind of shit. I just think it was I feel like I have to do this because I did not have power when I was younger. So here's how I have power when I'm older. And like when you know about that type of stuff, it's really, really hard to not have, again, infinite levels of sympathy and empathy for people that go through stuff that causes them to think like that. But it's just like when I was younger, I kind of thought, oh, that's kind of like when I was younger, I think that it was a little bit easier for me to be resentful. But as I've gotten older, one of the things I try to do is I think of somebody that's either made me angry, or that I'm really mad at, or that I really dislike because of a detestable belief. And then I try to think to myself, okay, let's pretend I'm this person. What would have to happen to me for me to have this belief system? Like what would it take for me to have this belief system? Then I imagine that person going through it. And I kind of try to think to myself, like, okay, how did that have to feel for them? How much would that have to suck? And then I try to imagine myself not being mad at hearing them. And then I also try to imagine what they would have been like if they didn't have that type of experience. And sometimes I'm right, but sometimes I'm literally just making it up as I go. Like, I'm just thinking, what could have possibly happened to them for them to get to that place? And it makes it a lot easier to understand them and meet them where they are. Like, I was having a conversation. I don't want to be very specific here because I don't want there to be even a remote chance of anybody ever, like, I don't want to get a text in my inbox saying, hey, you were talking about me, because that's like, fuck that shit. But there was somebody I was talking to a while back, and like, this is a person that had a lot of problem with X. I'm not going to say what X is. And when I went through this thing in my head, instead of talking the way I usually would have talked or seen it, but after about an hour and a half, the person said, the problem is me. I know it's me. This is without me accusing them, without me saying anything, without me using blaming or shaming language. And this is somebody that really doesn't admit fault very often. And it's like so I kind of started to realize when I'm able to follow that process, it's actually easier to have much better conversations, not just for me, but also like for the people that I'm actually in the conversation with. They get a lot more out of it. If you have advice for someone feeling stuck in a repair shop with bad leadership, passive aggressive remarks. I don't know. I would start I don't really have good advice there other than start your own. Like, I started my repair place because I was pissed off at Laptop MD. I fixed a device. It was an A1181 white MacBook. I'm never going to forget this. There were 2 things that did it for me. I fixed an A1181 MacBook, and the tech got $40 for every successful repair. Regardless of how easy or hard, it was a flat rate $40. The customers put in the sign-in form they're willing to spend up to $250 to fix this machine, which to me made sense. It's a 3.5-year-old model. It's kind of beat up. But the thing is, motherboard repair was $350. So they said, well, this person is only willing to spend $250. They need to spend $350, so you have to break it. And I go, what? Like, the cost to fix this machine was literally nothing. Like, this is before I knew anything about board repair, and I forget exactly what I did. It's 15 fucking years ago. I think it was like a shorted ceramic cap, and it was very obvious, so I just flicked it off. It wasn't a big one. It was like one of the small ones that's not going to matter on the line. And I just, that was it. Like, they literally wanted me to break the device, because they said we would be devaluing our service. So if she tells people, then other people will know that we do board repair for $250 instead of $350, and then we will devalue our entire service. So I'm like, so break it? Are you serious? So I wind up calling the customer and telling them the entire bullshit. And like, they're telling me to break this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unplug your keyboard cable. Just do me a favor, plug it back in when you get home. I'm going to send you a video on how to do it. And then I fucking quit. Oh, then somebody asked for a soldering iron tip. They gave him sandpaper. Like, soldering iron tips cost $8, and then they gave him fucking sandpaper. So I quit. And like, that's the thing. It's hard to quit because when you quit, you're starting from scratch. When you quit, you're living in a house that is filled with termites, with a landlord that says, "What are you, Pinocchio? They're not after you." And it's really one of those things where you're going to have to be willing to crawl through a little bit of the Shawshank Redemption sewer of shit. So what it comes down to is the pain of working for a shitty boss worse or better than the pain of starting from scratch and the risk involved in maybe not actually going anywhere? And you're going to have to make that decision for yourself. For me, it was easier to make that decision back in 2009 because this industry wasn't completely fucked in 2009. In 2024, I don't know. Maybe I take the stability. But it really depends on how much. It really depends on that. I think it really depends on. What am I saying? Yeah, it really depends on your situation and your risk tolerance. Do you remember what video you talked about the ethics of charging customers for cleaning the charging ports? Could you summarize your current views on that? What I was talking about was. I think this was 1 or 2 videos ago, and it wasn't even an ethics thing. I think the issue was that they didn't even look to figure out that what was wrong with the charging port was that there was lint in there. So with iPhones, very often you get, pocket lint in the charge port, and you can easily use a dental pick to pull it out. 90% of the time that a customer walks into your store and says they're having a problem with the charging port, it's actually not a charge port replacement that you need, it's rather a dental pick. And can I be honest with you? I'm going to tell you the full truth here. Are you ready? I hate repairing iPhones. I like repairing motherboards. I fucking hate repairing iPhones, especially charge ports, because now you got to take the entire goddamn board out of the phone. Ever since the iPhone 7, it's not just replacing the charge port is easy. You have to take the whole fucking motherboard out of the phone. I don't even want the $50. I don't even want your money. I just don't want to do it. Can I be honest? I want you to trust me so that when you have a repair that I can actually make money off of without wanting to off myself, I can do that for you. So what I do is I'm very, very incentivized to figure out how to make it work. So I use the dental pick and I'll pull all the lint out and I'll say, like, come back when you have a real problem. Anyway, I'm going to finish that in a moment because holy shit, $50. And that's actually American money. God damn. Okay, thank you. Lewis, thanks for the quality content over the years. Do you think you'll ever attain the possibility of one-on-one business consultations or advice sessions in the future for those who want to participate? Yeah, send me an email, lewis@rossmangroup.com. All you got to do is spell my name, Louis, not Lois. I am Lewis. I am not Superman's girlfriend. And 2 S's and 2 N's. Rossmann. One N is Jewish, 2 N's is German. Spelled the German way. rossmangroup.com. Lewis@rossmangroup.com. But I offer the advice for free anytime I have time to read my email. My email inbox is a little messed, but by all means. Thanks for the real answer. There's a fork in the road in my near future that involves leaving the shop, and you answer my question for me. Here's the thing. If you have pain, there's usually a reason for it. If you don't do anything about the pain, you don't accept the pain, you don't realize that there's pain there, and you don't deal with it, you have to deal with the pain, even though it's hard. You're going to have a little bit of misery, but if you don't deal with the pain, then it becomes suffering. And then you're in hell, and your life is fucking miserable forever. So, you could deal with it now, or you could deal with it later. The best way to describe it, I think, would be you can pay the bill up front, or you could pay it every day for the rest of your life. When you decide to pay the bill every day for the rest of your life, there's interest involved on that. You got 28% interest from now until the day you die. It's going to be very painful to do what you need to do. And I think most men look in the mirror and they know exactly what they need to do. They just don't want to do it. And back to the charge port thing. Let's say that the problem with your phone was that there's lint in the charge port. And the shop says, well, you need to replace it. And then you go home and then you just get the lint out of your charge port using a dental pick, and it works. That is a black eye on the industry. That person's going to tell all their friends, this repair shop tried to fuck me. Don't trust them. And to be clear, they're not going to say, don't trust you break, I fix. They're not going to say, don't trust I fix and repair. They're going to say, don't trust the repair industry, which hurts all of us, which is why I think it's imperative that you put that small little bit of effort in to do that work. It's, again, to be clear, it's not even just to do right by the customer, it's also to do right by the industry. The entire industry gets a black eye every time somebody feels like they've been screwed over as a result of somebody taking that type of short-sighted action. Anytime somebody takes that type of short-sighted action, they're screwing themselves, in my opinion. You really wind up You wind up screwing yourself, and you wind up screwing your entire industry. And again, essentially being the reason that people don't trust us. Like, one thing that's really important when I talk about right to repair and all this other stuff is you have to be a part of the change you want to see in the world. People are not going to want to support you solely because you have a moral or ethical argument. They're going to want to support you if they like you, if they feel like you're useful, if they feel like you're somebody that's worth keeping around. So if you tell somebody you have to pay $100 for a charge port, and they get home and they realize it was dust, regardless of whether right to repair would help them personally in their own lives, regardless of whether it's the good or a bad thing to do, they aren't going to remember their experience with you and say, I'm not dealing with them. That's how people are. Almost done. Good burrito. Damn good burrito. Worst date story. Back when I was stupid enough to use online dating back in 2012, somebody was approximately 150, 200 pounds heavier than their profile picture was. I was mortified, and also I was too young to really understand how to deal with a lot of these social interactions. And she also was big enough that she was kind of hard to get around people because we went to a very crowded place, and she also couldn't walk very fast. So at some point I just started walking faster, and then I just kind of started walking faster, and then I just went in the train and went home. Like, it's like, I looked at the picture of like what I looked at, and then it's like, to be clear, I don't even have a problem with you being overweight. It's like, you lied. Like, why would you lie about this? Like, that's just so, like, I didn't put in my profile that I'm 5'9" when I'm 5'6". My profile says I'm 5'6". Like, you can see that I'm short, you know, it's just kind of, I was just stunned at the degree to which somebody was willing to lie. What relationship are you talking about? Probably a relationship in my personal life, I imagine. But that comment is 10 minutes old at this point, so I don't remember. What do you think of Audio-Technica? Oh, I think they make great, I don't know about their earbuds or the headphones, but I know they make great mics. The 4050, if you could find one used, the 4050 or the 4047, great microphones. What do you think about brain chips? When Elon Musk puts one in his brain, I'll consider putting one in mine. But yeah, no. I think with it, you know, there was all these studies done where like they had this shit put in monkeys and the monkeys were all dying. And it's like, no, thank you, bro. No, thank you. This is my steak, not yours, Oreo. One moment. We'll go back to chat in a moment. I'm having an experience with my burrito. This Fathead spicy sauce is so good. Oh my God. I'm almost thinking I want to buy this shit and sell it on my website. It's so good. I want to go back to Mason, Texas and make these people famous. They deserve it completely. Fathead Spices sizzling steak sauce. The best thing I've ever had in my life. Almost done, I promise. Oh my God. Oreo wants a piece of steak. Fine, Oreo. Here you go. If you give Oreo steak, he will eat it. He's a monster. I had one piece of steak that I didn't put any hot sauce on. Cats don't like hot sauce, but they'll eat steak. He'll attack you for that steak. It's a good little Oreo. I love this cat. It's a good Oreo. Okay. One moment, and I'll be back to reading everything. It was a good question in chat. I'll go over it in a moment. Yes, the person who asked about the whole consultation thing, I will do my best to give you some good business advice for free. Well, not free. I mean, I guess you already gave $50, but... One moment. I'm going to move my chat window over to the other screen so I can see it. And... Your video today hit me really hard. I ruined a potential lifelong friendship because I wanted to be more than a friend. Looking back now, I know I was a creep and I regret my behavior. If you were a creep, I will take your word for it. And yeah, I know that stuff kind of sucks. I'm sorry you went through it. And obviously, it seems like you learned. You know, you learned something about yourself and you took some responsibility. I've always just kind of thought the whole men and women being friends thing is kind of a meme. Like, it's just... Maybe it's because I have a really high standard for who I consider a friend. Like what most people call people acquaintances. Most people call people friends when I would call them acquaintances. I have a really high bar for friends. So for me, like a friend is somebody where I respect your values, I respect your ethics, I respect what it is you do, and you have a mutual respect for me. You respect what I've accomplished, what I do, my values, my ethics. I can talk to you on a regular basis. I go out of my way to spend time with you or see you on a regular basis. And you know, we get along. We have a lot, even when we disagree, we have the ability to respectfully disagree and see each other's point of view. So like once I'm at the point of seeing you in this way, like, why would I not try to date you? You know, like, so, like, you know, once you have all these, like, if you have all these character traits and worldviews and everything else, and that I would want in a wife, and like you respect me and I respect you the way I would respect a best friend, it's just, like, it's, I don't know, for me, it's just. I've always thought that the men and women being just friends is a meme. I'm not saying you can't be. I just like it's just a mess. Like you see this every single day in 2X chromosomes on Reddit. Like literally every day something will front page saying, you know, I took this guy to the beach and I jumped on his back and I like would talk to him for hours on end and I went over to his house at 11 o'clock at night and then he said he was attracted to me and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Why could I imagine? Like, I don't know what to say. Like I don't know what to say. Like it's just such a fucking meme. It's like, you know, like my girlfriend said that she learned at a very young age, and I'm like, yeah, like men don't want to be your friend. I'm sorry. It's just like they don't. Like no, they don't. They don't. And like I'm glad that I'm glad that you got to learn that at a young age, rather than having all these fucking awkward, ridiculous experiences at an old age. Yeah, I'm gonna paste something in the chat. It's a very long-winded talk to me explaining this entire thing. It's about an hour. It's about an hour and 8 minutes, so it's a fairly long talk because the subject really does need a lot more. This subject needs a lot more than what I could say in 5 or 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm sorry that you feel like you ruined a horrible relationship. I'm sorry that you did that. I'm sorry you had that experience. In my opinion, again, like if you like any relationship you're in, you're also going to be that person's best friend. If you have a best friend or somebody that you really like and care about and you want a relationship with them, the longer that you don't say anything, again, it honestly goes back to that radical acceptance thing I was talking about earlier. Like, you know, if you're in pain, if you're in pain and you don't do anything about it or you don't accept your you know, the fact that you're in a shitty situation, like, you know, again, the path out of pain is dealing with a little bit of misery. But if you don't, if you're not willing to deal with a little bit of misery, then you are in suffering and you are in hell. And you know, this is different for different people in different places. Maybe it could be a job. Maybe it could be a circumstance. Maybe it could be that you could be doing more with your life, and you know you could be doing more with your life, and you're not. In your case, it's always different places. And in your case, it's called the friend zone. And the reason it's not even necessarily that being friends with this person is what's killing you. That may not be what it is. It's that you have a certain feeling and you didn't express yourself, and then you ruminate. You just think about it and think about it and think about it and think about it. And the more that you ruminate on it, the less healthy it becomes, because as you think about it, you start imagining a future that could be, and you start imagining how they could react, and then you start imagining them reacting poorly, and then you go, why can't I have this? And then you start getting mad when they're with other people. It's just bad all around. Like, don't torture yourself like that. If you have a certain feeling, I guess there's two things that you have to do here. So the first is you have to believe that If you tell the truth, this is a really hard thing to believe. If you tell the truth, whatever happens is the best possible outcome. Like, even if you don't get what you want. So for instance, let's say you say what your feelings are in the beginning, and you get a, no, I don't see you that way. Okay, that's not the outcome you want, and that's why you were afraid of talking to her. However, if you don't say that and you wait 5 years, now you have rumination, you feel miserable for those 5 years, you miss out on opportunities for any other woman for that 5 years, and fucking lights keep going out. 1 second. Why'd I get the battery-powered ones? I don't know. But above all, you go from being, now you go from being a person that just got a normal rejection to a creep, because your behavior is going to be so much worse when you're in that desperate situation. So you have to have a belief that when you tell the truth, whatever happens is the best possible thing. Even if it's not a good outcome, you have to believe it's better than what would happen if you don't tell the truth. And that, admittedly, it kind of takes a large leap of faith. 1 second, I'm chewing an omega-3 vitamin. Take your omega-3 and your B12. It's good for your brain. My brain needs all the help it can get because it's completely fucked. They're just beyond completely fucked. The more help my brain gets, the better. God knows it needs it. Anyway. Yeah, you have to believe that the world is a good place. And that's a hard thing, because many people believe that the world is shit. And honestly, many people have had life experiences where I cannot blame them for the fact that they think the world is a shit place. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit you and tell you don't have any reason to believe that. It's a difficult thing to believe. But unfortunately, it's the truth. And, I'm sorry you had that experience. It sucks. Nobody likes that experience, but, you got to tell the truth. But why'd you feel the need to say your name is specifically not the Jewish spelling of Rossmann? I actually fucked myself 15 years with that. 16 years ago, I was looking for an apartment. This was along Lee Avenue in Brooklyn. It's a very Hasidic Jewish neighborhood. And, while I'm filling out the lease for this apartment, one of the, the guy, it's not like one of the... It's one of the more Orthodox Jews with the really long beard and the top hat and all that. And he says, oh, Rossmann, Jewish? And I'm like, oh no, 2 N's. 2 N's is German. He literally takes the lease from me. I'm not kidding. He takes the lease as I'm fucking signing it on the wall, does this. He's like, oh, let me go over some things. I think there's something that we left out. And I'm like, you only think that there's something that I left out when you figured out what the second N on my name means? He's like, no. I'm like, the timing of this seems really interesting. And then the guy that he's in the room with is like, and I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. Anyway, I fucked myself because I could have got an apartment for $900 a month. It was pretty nice. And instead, I wound up living on Marcian Park, which was way worse in environment. And I was paying $200 a month more for an apartment that actually wasn't even as nice. It was close to the train station, but it wasn't nearly as nice. And the neighborhood was kind of meh. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of fucked myself there. I don't even understand it. It's like, I was born in the United States. My dad was born in the United States. I kind of, I can understand some minor low. I really didn't get it. Anyway. Top-notch content, good advice. Thank you for keeping it real. Thank you. I don't know if this is good advice. To be clear, I should put a disclaimer on all these videos. This channel is not advice. None of this is advice. This is all the rantings of a crazy man. This is just the artistic, creative outlet of a crazy man. Mouth noises. Listen, man, I told you I was eating my fucking burrito. You knew I was going to eat a burrito, and you did it anyway. What do you say about the production of AI? These very general, non-specific questions are annoying, and I already answered all the AI stuff in the beginning. I don't know what it was. No, Louis, at least say you lied and leave. For me, you knew you lied so much that it wasn't even worth it. I didn't even want to acknowledge you at that point. I didn't even think you were worth a response out of me. I also believe if an independent repair store needs to rely on charging the customer for such menial work, it shows they can't do repairs consistently well enough to offset the cost. Possibly. For me, admittedly, it was a form of advertising. You expect to pay $100. Apple told you have to pay $300 to replace the phone. I do this with a dental pick, and your phone worked perfectly again. I've earned your trust. Now, when you drop that thing in the ocean, you're going to come here for a data recovery. And you may, or, you have you have something that I can actually make money from, not some stupid ass charge port repair. Then I will be able to do that. Trust is a very valuable commodity. You can use that. You can do something with that. You could turn it into something. The mic is fine, Dimbu. Mic is fine, bro. Mic is fine. With all the money Lewis has, if he's not going to see the eclipse, he's crazy. I don't know where you get this idea that I have all this money. There's a lot of independent repair stores I've worked for in Florida that are absolutely embarrassing insults to this industry, and it kills me inside to witness it firsthand over and over. At the end of the day, a big part of the problem with this industry is just fundamentally there's just not much money in it anymore. Again, a lot of parts and stuff are not available that used to be available, but more importantly, when you, I don't want to say, I'm not going to say it's okay, to be clear. People are fucking people over. I will not say it's okay. It's just, when a phone was $600 in 2008, a phone is $600 in 2024, and people expect to get paid more now than they did back then. Customers do not expect to get paid more for repairs. I really do kind of wonder if, as the industry goes on and that trend just happens, less parts available, everything more expensive, devices the same amount of money, everybody wants more. It's one of those things where it's just you're gonna see more of that. Do you still do board level repair, Lewis, with a sad face? I do not, but I have employees that do. After 10 years of doing the same video over and over again, I did other videos. Let's see. I did not start this channel with board repair, and I'm probably not going to end it with board repair. Hello, thank you for the video about dating. It made my girlfriend say it's more appropriate if the man pays for a first date, but we can take turns and randomly. What do you think? Yes, in an older dating culture, I think. Here's the thing. In 1947, man always pays. Fine. In 2008, man pays, woman pays, man pays, woman pays, sure. In 2024, we live in an app dating culture. You have 20 other dudes in your inbox. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. For the women that I've been with, usually I kind of get to know you a decent amount before I even go on the first date. So I know whether or not you are talking to multiple people. But if I literally swiped on you in an app and you swiped on me in an app, you don't know if I have 30 people in my inbox and I'm seeing 3 other girls this week. I don't know if you have 100 people in your inbox and you're seeing 6 other guys this week. So it really doesn't make sense. The thing is, our dating culture is too fucked up for that to be the case. Again, 2008, sure. 1947, dude always pays. 2008, man then woman, then man then woman. 2024, hide your wallet, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your wallet. Emily Smith is deluded, unfortunately. Let's see. My girlfriend said it's more, oh, come on, don't do that shit where you copy and paste. Come on, I got so much stuff to read already. Don't do the copy and paste thing. She still thinks it'd be better if I paid for the first date, but not necessarily. Is she a keeper? There is a lot more that goes into the whole thing. Again, if she says, I think it'd be better, fine, but there's a lot of other questions to go into that. Is she open to telling you whether she's seeing other people on that first date or taking other people into account? Would she have not gone out with you again if you didn't pay for the first date? And above all, what is your personal tolerance? I can't tell you who you should and should not be in a relationship with because I'm not you. I don't even tell you don't use a MacBook. To be clear, I don't tell you on this channel do not use a MacBook. I will show you all the problems with them, but I simultaneously tell you use for your personal use what is going to make you happy, that you enjoy, and for work, use what is going to make you the most productive. Don't listen, just because I don't use something doesn't mean you shouldn't. You need to think for yourself. You need to be your own man, and you need to use the products that suit whatever it is, what your preference is for personal use, and suit your productivity for business use. And that's going to be different for you than it is for me. And the same thing in your own personal life. I can't tell you what the standard should be for your personal relationships. I can give you my thoughts and ideas, but I also don't know the rest of your relationship. For all I know, you have this one small area of disagreement, but you're with a woman that's the most generous person in the world in every other area. There's a lot more that goes into this. Is Lewis still do board level repair? I missed that. Will you stop with the depressing sad faces? Go watch I have 1,000 board repair videos. I guarantee you have not watched all 1,000 of them. Go back to my 1,000 videos. I'm sure that there's one video that you have not seen. Just call me crazy. I'm just going to imagine that there's one. You can have a female friend if being friends provides more access to women you can date. I think you can have women. You can have female acquaintances. Female acquaintances, I believe in. Female friends, I just think that's a meme. Again, like I'm not gonna, again, to be clear, like the way that my mind works, just so you understand, I do not think about what is possible. I think about what is probable. I don't care if something is technically possible. Technically, people say, like, what if I'm the next Mark Zuckerberg and you ignored, like, people email me all the time and they say, I want a 15-minute phone call. And I'll tell them, what is it about? I'll ask, like, what is it about? And like, I'll tell you on the phone call. And then I hit delete. It's like, and sometimes it's like, what if I'm the next Mark Zuckerberg? It's like, you know what? It's possible that you are, but it's very improbable. And I live my life based on what's probable, not possible. And there were just too many cases, too many memes. Just too many memes, and I just don't put myself in that. I don't put myself in that miserable situation. Like, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not. Like, it just didn't. And I put the video in the chat. Let me see if I still have it there. Yes, I went over this in great detail, why I think this is a meme. And I had a video at some point on the main channel that where did I put? I can't find it now. I did it like the same week I did this video on the main channel. I did another. It really bothers me that YouTube search is so bad. I can't even you can't even search videos by time frame. It's just very annoying. But yeah, I'll post it. I'll post that video again. It's an hour. I did a video. It was way shorter than that, where I really feel like I made my point and I can't find it because YouTube search is trash. I can't even find it if I search for the terms I would expect to show up. It's just, it just drives me nuts. YouTube search is so bad. That person before that said, what do you think of YouTube search becoming worse? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I didn't acknowledge your chat. You were right. Can I say that you were right? You were right. I'm really trying to find it. Yeah, I give up. Okay, the video that I posted, it's going to be a video on my main channel that was within 2 weeks of that video. Fuck if I can find it with how shitty YouTube search is. I'm sorry. I'd literally have to browse back through all my videos because they don't allow you the ability to search by week or date, and that takes a really long time because you have to keep clicking load. That's the other thing with YouTube is they can't just show me a whole fucking list of my videos. You have to keep clicking load more. I don't know what it is. It's essentially the worst possible. Anyway. What happens if the person rejects you and you have to interact with them for another year at least? I mean, again, it's better than, like, listen, you could either pain, suffering, temporary misery, permanent hell. Like, I would rather, like, the way that I see it is this. When you're 80 years old looking back at your life, what will you regret doing versus what will you regret not doing? What will you be happy having done? Can you live with and what can you not live with? What videos from your backlog would you recommend to viewers in their 20s? I enjoyed disaster recovery, help people waste their lives, and what are you going to do about it? You know what? I think those are probably 3 of my best in that case. Let's see. It depends on your situation in life. I would say, are you a real business too? I think that's an important one. Are you a real business? Like, don't be sad that you don't have enough money to have all the other stuff that the other competing businesses have. And thank you for the $3. I get along with females more than males. Harder to find dudes with emotional intelligence, but you do you. And there are a lot of men with emotional intelligence, I think. That seems very... Dear Louis Rossmann, the repair guru. No Jesus. I do not know Jesus. No, sir, I am sorry. Thank you for the $10, but I do not know Jesus. I would die to meet a nice guy, meet married and functional drug and alcohol addicts. Well, you know, I started meeting more healthy people when I was more healthy myself. That's a difficult thing to deal with, though. You need to take a trip down I-35. I try to avoid I-35 whenever possible. Too many mattresses, too many shopping carts, too many drunk people on New Year's Eve and Friday night and Thursday night and Saturday night and Sunday night and Monday night. Can you turn off your camera's weird, slow, fast-forward option? That does not exist. There's no such thing as fast-forward. You cannot fast-forward on a live camera because fast-forwarding on a live camera would mean time travel, which does not exist yet. So I'm afraid that feature does not exist. We need board repair and yelling at Paul Daniels software. That is a bygone, that is a gone era, I'm afraid. Please make a new board level repair video. Go the fuck away, bro. Go away. This is my channel. If you don't like what's on my channel, go to your channel. I did 1,000 fucking board repairs. 1,000 fucking board repairs. And 99% of those videos made less than $2. I did my shit. But no, 1,000 is not enough. You want 1,001. Why? Like, you just take and you take and you take and you take. I have 100 articles in repair.wiki, many of which I wrote out personally with every single problem, every single solution so that you could do the exact job that my business does with the exact same diagnostic manual that I give my own employees for free. And there's 1,000 videos, but that's not enough. You have to have a crying emoji because you want 1,001. Get the fuck out of my chat with your sad and crying emojis. You got enough. You got enough. Are you offering me anything? What do I get in exchange for that, huh? What do I get? You ever think about, like, asking what it is you could provide rather than constantly asking for more? You get a timeout, you prick. You get a timeout. So selfish. So selfish. Yeah, you get a timeout, you asshole. Okay. What are some things I can do to get one of my coworkers to trust me again on a personal level? Trust is a very difficult thing to build when it's broken, as Frank would say. It's one of my favorite videos that Frank did was on trust. I miss Frank. He was a cool dude. But yeah, that is getting a scale of 1 to potato. How amazing is Oreo? I think Oreo's an 8. What does you wear on your neck in some videos? I think those are Shure RMCE BT2s. Those are the best. So nowadays, the trend amongst all the kids these days is to have headphones that are really annoying. It's these shit that stays in your ear. The thing that I don't like about it is that when I take them off, I have to find some place to put them. And I'm very often taking headphones off and putting them back on depending on my circumstance. Like, I'm having a conversation and then I put them back on and I don't want to have to put them in my pocket and take it out. It's annoying and it also makes it easy to lose. So what I like having is I like having something that I could put around my neck. So this is a Bluetooth adapter. It's an MMCX Bluetooth adapter. So the cool things about this is I can actually open this and get the fucking battery out of it. Now, granted, is Shure going to give me a battery? Sure, I don't think they sell the battery, but every time I've sent this thing to them, even if it's like 2 years out of warranty, they fix it anyway, and that's the beauty of Shure. Their shit costs more, but oh my God, like the warranty and the support you get from Shure, it's literally the opposite of Apple in every way. It's beautiful. So these have MMCX connectors, which are modular, so you can use any headphone that you want. If the headphone dies, you don't have a broken wire and Bluetooth receiver, and conversely, if the Bluetooth receiver dies, your headphones are not useless. So I use this, and I like the fact that it's a wire, so I can just put it back around my neck and then put it back in my ear. I don't have to worry about losing them. I don't have to worry about wasting space in my pocket, and going from here to here is a lot easier than going into my pocket. So that's what those are. So many subs and so few viewers, I don't get it. And I get it, listen, this channel is listen, in 2012, this channel was Man Screams at Camera, and at 2024, this channel is Man Screams at Camera. So, it doesn't exactly have the highest. People are looking for a little bit more production value from their content, and that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Like if I look on this video's live streaming stat, let's see. It looks like there's 600 something live viewers now. I used to have 600 something live viewers back 8 years ago when I had 40,000 subscribers. And you know what it is? It's 600 viewers more than I would get, more than most other people have. So nothing to cry in your milk about. Why did you post that advertisement saying dating advice from Dr. What the fuck are you going on about? I don't know. Like, I gave you 1,000 board repair videos, Seth. You got 1,000. Instead of being appreciative for what I provided, it's just take. Enough of the take. What are your thoughts on the Apple Vision Pro? I don't really care about it. I haven't tried it. Don't intend to try it. Don't have any use for it. What are some things I can do to get one of my coworkers to trust me again on a personal level? Whatever it is you did to them that caused them to distrust you, you're going to have to demonstrate that you don't take part in that behavior anymore. The most difficult part of this is during the period that you're working to prove yourself, they're not going to see you the way they used to. And you're going to have this frustration like, I'm doing the things that are the opposite of the thing that I did to cause you to not trust me. And you're going to want to stop doing them or become resentful or aggravated during that time period. If you believe, and I can only decide this for you, get some for your cat or cats. Thank you, William. I'm going to get them some greenies. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anyway, I can't answer this for you. If you believe, and this is a big if you believe that person is worth earning the trust of again, same thing, whether it's a coworker, a girlfriend, the next anything else, boyfriend, you're going to have to act in that way. And while you're acting in that way and doing all the things you're supposed to do, all the things they want, you're not going to be getting out of them what you want out of them, but you're going to be providing this to them. That's going to be a very difficult circumstance to understand, that you're providing what you're supposed to be providing, and they're not providing what you want out of them. And it's also very easy to become resentful during that time period. And it's going to be really hard to not ruminate. It's going to be really hard to understand every time they do something that's just kind of like they don't trust you with something, they don't listen to you, they don't provide something that they otherwise would have. It's going to be very difficult to say, you know, I'm doing all this, you're not even willing to do that, I'm done with this. It's going to become hard to not become resentful and ruminate. But if that person is genuinely worth it to you, and I can't answer that question for you, you can only answer that for yourself, you're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that and genuinely understand, like check your facts and say, okay, I feel like I'm worth better than this. I don't believe I deserve, but okay, here's what I did. Here's how what I did hurt them. If I was in that situation, would I feel hurt? Yes. If I was in that situation, would I trust me immediately simply because I didn't act like that for a week? Probably not. Okay, so I can understand where they're coming from, and I can understand why it is they don't trust me yet, and I can also understand that it's going to take a little bit more time to build trust. You're going to have to do everything you need to do to avoid rumination. And again, that's not just for a coworker that doesn't trust you anymore because you did something wrong. For a boyfriend, for a girlfriend, for a family member, it's the same principle. I received the Pixel 7 Pro as a gift with a scratch-up screen. I've been trying to replace the screen, but the replacement costs as much as the phone used. God bless Google for promoting right to repair. Welcome to the fake right to repair, my friends. Yeah, I remember emailing somebody about the right to repair legislation because, like, people are actually considering it. Like, Google supports right to repair. Look, I could spend $250 to buy a screen to a Pixel 6 Pro that goes for $210 used on eBay and Amazon. Yeah. Viva right to repair, my friends. Viva right to repair. You got to admit when you lost, man. I take my L's. Again, one of the things I said in that dating video today, one of the things I remember saying very clearly, I don't even mind if this is what you think or say or do, just be honest about it. Just be honest about it. I try to be honest about it. I failed. Without context, if someone calls you a difficult person, you know you're not a difficult person, witty do you. Also, you are a very difficult person. I think you're a difficult person because you use fucking acronyms, bro. Anyway, don't use acronyms. Just type out the damn word. App dating and dating mutual acquaintances or people you meet at places you go to are very different experiences. Yes. Do you think it would be a good idea where a new age tech YouTuber talk about repairability and bootloader unlocking? I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to talk about the size of the bezel and how the bezel is closer to the edge of the screen. And, oh my God, now the edge is a screen. Oh, fap, 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 fap. In spite of the fact that when the edge of the screen is part of the fucking screen, now your palm is going to cause the screen to touch when you don't mean it to. But it's, I don't know. I can't fucking stand tech reviewers. I'll be honest. Like 99% of them make me sick. Like they literally, this stupid shit like fucking fapping over the bezel going to, like being a smaller bezel and everything. I don't give a fuck about all this shit. It just makes me sick. All the things that I actually give two shits of a fuck about do not get covered in tech reviews. David says, I'm sorry, Lewis, marriage is not feasible in today's society. Usually when people say something that there is their opinion because they're salty and they want to present it as a fact, they preface it with I'm sorry, as if I'm sorry is this, like, magically turns an opinion into a fact. If you don't think that marriage is feasible, that's absolutely fine. If you have failed at marriage, I can understand that completely. And if that's your opinion, that's fine. But to pretend that it is a fact because you apologize when there is, I guess what I would imagine you're apologizing there for is presenting an opinion as a fact, and for that I accept your apology, but it doesn't make it true. Who has more fans, you or Martin Shkreli? No fucking clue. I still remember going to dinner with a girl, and towards the end she says, by the way, this isn't a date. I split the bill, she got pissed, I said it's not like it was a date. Again, and to be clear, this is another thing about the meme of men and women being friends. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Just the sheer fact. Again, there are so many posts you will read online. You're like, I didn't know this was a date, or like, again, I'm not. Like, again, there's what's possible and what's probable. Like I can't do that shit anymore. Like I just can't. I just can't. Like, I wish I had the patience to find this fucking YouTube video I did where this woman was like, I drank wine with this guy. I had him help me move. After I drank wine with him and had him help me move, I came over his house. I jumped on his back. I got food with him. I talked to him until 3 a.m. And then he said he's interested in me. Oh my God, what would cause him to think that? It's just like, fine. Like you win. I don't know. It's just, I'm just sick. Like, maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've like seen this a million fucking times and I read about this shit on the internet every single goddamn day. It's just like, it's just memeing to me. It's just absolute memeing. Like, if you're going out on a date, here's one of the most important things, by the way, for almost all young men. If you ask somebody out and you think it is a date, once you choose the time and place, right after you're done saying that, say these 4 words. These 4 words. Ready? Great, it's a date. Or these 8 words. Great, it's a date. I'll see you then. Get rid of the ambiguity. There are unfortunately, I don't like that this exists, but it's unfortunate. There are people that will play within the gray area, and they know there's a gray area, and they will try to do everything they can to get away with things within the gray area. So, for instance, this person was mad that JP didn't pay, and she was also telling him, by the way, this is not a date. So she expected to go out with him. She expected to go out with a man to pay for her when it wasn't even a date. Again, like, the way that you avoid this, and to be clear, no offense, I love JP like a brother. I really do. I've talked to him outside of here. I've met him in person in Florida. He's a genuinely good dude. I look up to him as a business person. He's way better tech professional than I am. In this case, it's his fault because he didn't clarify. He thought it was a date, but she didn't. He didn't clarify. And, you may think that that's wrong on her part, but it's not. This is 2024. In 2024, this is the way the culture is. And you can either accept that that's the way the culture is and deal with it and adapt to it, or you can complain every time something happens. I don't think so, Tamor. I don't think so. Eli the computer guy. I'll take Eli the computer guy. When he reviews shit, I actually care. I forget the name of the phone. He was reviewing this one phone and showing how fast Google Maps loads on it, and then he was showing every other phone. It's like, that's what I care about. This phone is 8 times faster at loading maps and browsing without lag than any other phone. Granted, this is like an 11-year-old video, 12-year-old video. All phones now, even a $100 phone is fast. He shows the shit, like real tech professionals show me what I actually give a fuck about. Anyway, I'm trying to find this video because it was one that was absolutely fucking. It was very hard for me to tell whether or not this post was even real. Like, it was very hard for me to tell if it wasn't even just a meme. Like an incel going onto this forum and posting something ridiculous as troll bait. It was very hard for me to even tell. But based on the number of people, like there were people that were, I don't know. I guess my point is, like what JP said over there, I love JP like a brother, I really do. But in this case, it's 2024. Regardless, again, we live in a culture where this is acceptable. We live in a culture where many people will more than happily go out, play the gray area, so they have somebody to emotionally unload on for 3 hours, to talk about all their stresses with, to unload their childhood trauma, to blarb on, to trauma dump on, to talk for 3 or 4 hours about something that bothered them, about their job or their family, and have that person pay for dinner, and then go at the end, oh, what? I didn't say this was a date. I didn't think this was a date. What do you mean you thought this was a date? Oh, that's not. Listen, that's the culture. That's the way it is. Those are the rules. So again, you can either complain about that being the rules, you could get salty about it and worked up and raw and I don't know, listen to 8 hours of Andrew Tate, or you can just kind of accept it and add 8 words to your vocabulary. Like, great, it's a date. I'll see you then. When you say that, there is no more gray area. Either A, you're going on a date, or B, she's going to say, oh God, I don't see you that way, and you saved yourself an awkward evening. And now, one of the things that I think men do here, that they shouldn't, because again, it takes 2 to tango, men are afraid that if they clarify, they won't get what they want. And I think a lot of men are hoping, I can slowly show her that I'm worth seeing that way. That does not work. That just doesn't work. If a woman doesn't see you in that way, again, to be clear, I'm talking about what's probable, not possible. Probable. Fuck possible. Fuck possible. It's possible that you could be the next Mark Zuckerberg and be worth $64 billion. I don't give a shit about what's possible. I care about probability. At least for me. The people that are in my inner circle, my friend circle, we care about what is probable. Fuck what is possible. If somebody does not see you that way, the chances that you are going to go to dinner with a woman that's like, no way in hell would I ever see this as the father of my children. I am not attracted to him. I am not interested in him. That within 20 minutes, you are going to say something magically to change her mind. You've been going to work with this person for a year. You've known them for a year, but in 20 minutes, you're going to convince them that you are dating material. That's not probable. It's just not probable. So what you do is you say these 8 words so that there's no gray area. And the thing is, this is not just for you. This is also for her. Because if you take somebody out and they are laying in the gray area and you eventually say something, you're going to make it awkward for everybody. So just say it up front. And here's the thing, like, again, a lot of men, I think that the reason that they're not up front is because they're afraid. They're either they're afraid of visceral rejection because again, like, some people will reject you by saying, oh, I don't really, that's not really something I want to do. Or how about instead of going out to dinner to get, like, what if I go out with my friend? You're like, some women kind of let you down easy. Like they'll say, oh, I don't want to go to a bar with you. Would you like to go downstairs and get something in the food court with my friend? And it's somebody else. Like they'll say, oh, I'm not into you like that. And then there are some people that'll actually like laugh at you. They'll laugh at you, they'll make it public, they'll be loud about it, and I think men are afraid of that. But at the end of the day, again, it's one of those things where you have to believe that telling the truth right now is better than, like, if you tell the truth, whatever happens is the best possible thing, and you're better off telling the truth than you are destroying yourself. Like, just in my opinion, you're better off doing that. So, like, always tell the truth. Don't deal with a gray area. Don't be afraid that if you tell the truth that, like, you're not because you're not going to get what you want anyway. Anyway, I guess that's my thing there. I really wish I could find this stupid fucking video. I'm trying to read the chat and find it because it's old, and I know that by the time I find this video and I link you to it, it's going to be too late because by the time I find it and link you to it, this conversation will have completely ended and moved on to something else. That is unfortunate. Let's see. So it was somewhere around April of 2023. So let's see. Can I find now? YouTube is so fucking bad as a platform. This literally makes me sick for searching. So like I can't even control F to you literally have to just hit like more, and it shows you by months ago rather than showing you by, oh my god. Anyway, work your butt off and skip dating. I don't see any appeal considering the outrageous considerations or must-haves. Again, that's cope. I don't think that men do better for themselves, isolating themselves from the world, and I don't think women do better either. Should you work on improving yourself? Should you work on improving your position in the world, improving your status, improving your skill set? Absolutely. Do all those things, especially if you're young. Do that stuff while you're young so that when you're older, you have a life for yourself. You have accomplishments. You have you have something that you can look back on with pride. Do that while you're young because it gets harder as you get older, by all means. But don't say to yourself, I'm doing this I wouldn't be doing this if I'm doing this because women suck or something. Now that's just cope. Like that I don't think that that's healthy. By all means, like focus on yourself, build something, but we're dangerously close. Dangerously close. What did I title this stupid video? Oh my god. I have my other monitor over there, that's why I'm leaning over. I have a shitty monitor here, and then I have my television over there. Do you think it'd be a good idea where a new age tech YouTuber, I already answered that. God damn you people that always copy and paste the shit over and over again. Like you go from making me 8 minutes behind to being 15 minutes behind. To be fair, you kind of implied to not use channel products in your what this channel video is all about. I don't know if that's the case. You only fix Apple boards, you do normal PC ones? No. And second question, can you have them sent to you from the UK? Please don't. It's just, when it gets lost, you're going to be mad at me and salty. When it gets lost in customs or shipping internationally, you're going to be mad at me and it's going to be awkward. And I really can't find it. Huh? Aha! Here we go. Asking someone on a date is desperate and wrong. Found it! You have to use this because I think the person deleted their post. Yes! Found it. Okay. Finally. Fucking finally. Being just friends meme. There, I put it in the chat. There you go. Okay, it's in the chat right now. This is the video. Let's see if I... that's what the fuck? That's my other browser window. Mute. This is it. I believe this is it. Does this post still exist? Does this post still fucking exist? Let's see. They probably deleted it. Of course they fucking deleted it. Okay. Yeah, it got deleted. Go figure. Yeah, so essentially you have to look at the video because I screenshotted in the video. It's like I jump on my homie's back. I stay over his house drinking until like 2 in the morning. I talk to him about all this stuff. I go out and get food with him and all this other stuff. And then like he wants me on a date. How dare he? I don't know. It's just listen, man. The world is what it is. Like you either adapt to the world the way it is or you just fucking torture yourself. And that was my point with all this. Yeah, anyway, just listen, I try to not go nuts. I try, like if I can change the world, I'll change the world. If I can't change the world or it's not my place to change the world, I will figure out a way to deal with it and accept it as it is. Radical acceptance. That's what's important. Do you think it'd be, oh my God, stop spamming. Get out of my chat with your spam. See, now you're out of here. No, I don't like that. That's very not nice. Have you crossed the scourge that is a vault Nahame? What the fuck? I don't know. I failed chemistry in high school. I don't know what that is. You mentioned you lived in or near the Marcy projects. Ever been a victim of a crime? Almost. There was a crime, but I don't think I was the victim at the end of it. Started, yes, but that's a long story. I literally, as I scroll down and I see Vardan's comment over and over again spamming my feed, I feel more validated in banning. I love the video where you fixed the lady's LED shoe. That was Paul. To be clear, that was not me. That was Paul. Credit where credit is due. Paul is a great technician. A2000 MHC, I believe, on YouTube. He's a great technician. That was not me. Look at this mofo. He's literally spamming twice a minute. Oh my God. Yeah, I still think you should set up a small studio as a hobby and just low-key produce some local talent. I don't know. That was 2 lifetimes ago. Do you like Edifier brand speakers? I've never heard of them. What are your thoughts on the Steam Deck? I don't really have one. I'm not a gaming dude myself. There is a difference between emotional intelligence and people who are overly emotional. I'm not sure where that came from. I-35 is the bane of Austin's existence. I sent in 2 broken SE535, just the 2 earpieces, no cable or box, and they sent me a completely new unit. Sure is amazing. Yeah, they've earned my respect as a brand. Again, is the sound quality transparency per dollar the best? Is the durability and more importantly the support of the products absolutely fucking amazing? Yes. Like Shure has earned it for me over 20 years. They've genuinely earned it for me. What are your thoughts on marriage, Lewis, in today's market? Yes or not worth it anymore? I think marriage is worth it if you find somebody that's worth marrying, and I think marriage is worth it if you become a man that's worth marrying. Now listen, a lot of people have a lot of salty experiences, and I understand why with the salty experiences they don't want to do it. At the end of the day, true hot take, ultimate hot take, gonna get me fucking deleted from the internet, and in a genuinely great relationship, men should be more than happy paying for literally everything, and women should be happy submitting to a great partner. And they actually want to please the man that they're with. And men should want to provide for and make the woman that they're with as happy as humanly possible, and make them make them feel like a queen. At the end of the day, men and women fit together very well when you have a good partner and when you care about each other and when you don't have all this other salt and bullshit. And it's hard to deal with that. It's hard to find somebody that has self-knowledge. It's hard to have self-knowledge of yourself. It's hard to look in the mirror, look at all the things that you know you're avoiding, that you know are probably fucked up about you, and try to fix them. And above all, it's hard to admit when you have problems, see a couples counselor, really want to work through shit together rather than put it under a rug. You do that again. At the end of the day, as I said in my last video, I'm not going off on all the salty shit saying men should never pay for something again. What I'm saying is talk in a manner where men actually want to provide for you. Because we do. We want to pay for everything. We want to provide. It makes us feel good. Allow us to feel good doing that. Simultaneously, I think women feel good being feminine around men. I think they do. I think they like it. I think you can see the difference between, I think that they want to feel comfortable doing that. It's up to us to make them feel comfortable doing that, Yeah, I don't know. I think that whole idea that marriage is dead, marriage doesn't work. Find the right person. Oh, what if she takes half my money and all that? I don't know. Listen, there's a window in which you can have children with somebody. You could very easily take 5 or 6 years of a woman's life to the point where if she wanted to have children, she's never able to because she was with you. There's always risk involved. There's always risk, and you can either live your life minimizing risk, or you can live your life in a way where when you're 80 years old, you can look back on your life and be genuinely happy. Which do you want to live in, you know? Like, which world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in the world where you look back on your life and it's like, you know, I had a partner that I joined with and became one that I went through all of life's difficulties with to the best of our abilities, and we're happy? Or do you want to say, I live my life with a 5% lower chance of like my money being taken away? And here's the honest truth. You want to know the honest truth about all this that pisses me off about it the most? When you find the right woman, your salary goes up. I like, honestly, when I look back through my life, the times that I was with a good woman, it's not even, like, here's the thing. As an executive, people don't understand this. As an executive, it's not necessarily about spending 40 hours at the office. It's about decisions. Like, once you get to a C-level executive level, it's not necessarily about the work that you do. It's about the decisions you make. Like, making the correct decisions can result in your company doing exceptionally well or completely failing. And the same thing is true in relationships at some point. Like, simply guiding me towards making mildly better decisions, I wound up making 2 or 3 times as much one year than I would have otherwise. Just one conversation that I had that saved me $60,000 that I otherwise wouldn't have saved, that I was putting off and not really wanting to deal with because of other life stresses and other, you know, issues with myself personally and stuff like that. There, like, when you're with, at least in my experience, when I go to marry somebody, like, when it's going to be somebody where I had that type of experience that I've had in the past, where I feel like I would make so much more money as a result of you being around and you encouraging me to be the best version of me, that if I lost half of my money because I married you, I would still be ahead of where I would be without you. And the thing is, there are women out there that can actually do that. Like, there are women out there that are going to encourage, that are genuinely going to encourage you and enable you to be the best version of yourself. And you're going to look in the mirror when you're with those women and realize, like, I don't even recognize me from where I was 2 years ago. I'm like, I can't believe I made the decisions. I took on these challenges. I did all this cool shit. And when you meet a woman like that, like, you stop thinking about this little petty bullshit. You know, like, honestly, when I read comments like that, I'll tell you what it is that bothers me the most about it. So there's a video that's on my main channel right now. It's an 11-year-old video on sacrifice in business and how I believe people should put in some sacrifice if they want success. And one of the examples I have in that video, like, I was ranting about this employee that was saying his boss made more money and, like, it's unfair because and listen, that this person was a person I was encouraging to start their own business and stock their own parts. And back then, if you had a B156XW02 screen, this screen was cross-compatible with 2,600 different laptops. It's $38. Customers were willing to spend $140 to $300 to fix those laptops, depending on which model they had. So you buy this $38 part, and even working out of your apartment, you're guaranteed $100 of profit for 5 minutes of work. And he would never stock the part. It's like, it's $38. I know what your salary is. I know you don't stock that part. And like, I was coming to my work in the shop that I owned, that I was renting, like, working at 80 hours a week. I was coming to my own store on a fucking bike, and this guy is driving an SUV in New York City. Like, his insurance has to be at least $200 a month and everything else. And he can't stock a $38 screen. He's complaining about it. So what really bothered me about this is that if you had even put a teeny tiny bit of investment in, you'd realize that you could make this money. And you have customers that are calling your side business regularly, asking if you could do this immediately, and you can't. You have to tell them I could do it in 2 days, and then you don't get the business because you didn't stock the part. However, it's this thing where, like, I don't want to spend $38 right now because I'm so afraid of losing the money. So you wind up losing out long term on all the profit that you could make if you stocked that part and you told the customer, I can do this the same day for you. And honestly, I see the people that talk about this shit with marriage in a very similar way, where there is so much more money you could make over the course of your life as a result of having a quality woman in your life that's always, again, to be clear, quality woman. There's a lot out there that's not, there's a lot out there that I would just not want to even pet Mr. Clinton nowadays. But you find a good quality person to spend your life with, and you are going to make so much more money as a result of this person being in your life that even if they divorced you and took half your shit, you are still way richer as a result of them being there than you would if they're not there. And when you find, like, and that's the thing, like, I see all these people saying, I don't want to risk my things being taken and this, that, and the other. Okay, fine, be alone, like, be miserable. Because the thing is, you can date people that are okay with just dating you, but at the end of the day, you're never going to get that full-on level of investment that you would if you actually join. And again, to be clear, the women that have provided this for me, I wasn't even married to them. Like, it goes to the next level when you've actually kind of, joined as one for the rest of your life. I really feel like a lot of the people that say that, I think they're salty because they've had bad experiences, or they listen to like fucking Red Pill and MGTOW people on YouTube that have had bad experiences, and they're like, I don't want that to happen to me. Or maybe they had salty experiences dating. So because they've had bad experiences dating and they don't know how to have good experiences with women because they don't know how to ask women out and say yes, rather than say the truth, tell the truth, which is like, listen, I can't get a date. I can't figure out how to make women like me. I can't figure out how to good experiences with them. So I'm going to pretend that the reason I'm not pursuing women, I'm going to pretend the reason I'm not pursuing women is because I am afraid that if I pursue them, that they'll take half my shit. When like the reality is, you just don't know how to have a good experience. And the thing is, I genuinely feel for you infinitely. Like, society does not really teach men how to be attractive to women. Most people, I'll be honest, like, I can't speak for everybody. I'll just speak for my own family. Like, my mother did not exactly set me up for success with women or men or life or careers or anything, honestly. But, it's not like most of us did not have parents that really went over this, that like were good role models for this. Like, a lot of the people watching the stream probably are people that grew up in a shit-ass household with parents that didn't respect each other, like each other. Maybe you didn't even have both parents in your household. Maybe they hated each other. Maybe they hated you. It's difficult. I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for people that are not able to have quality relationships with women. But at the same time, this whole concept, this idea that like marriage is a complete and utter joke because I may have 50% of my stuff's taken. Well, you could get a job and get fired. And you could start a business and have it fail, and then your entire investment in the business is gone. Like, when I started my business, I put everything into it. There's always risk with everything in life. And if you're so focused on like, I don't want to potentially lose anything, and you're holding on to it so tight that you're never really gonna get to experience what it feels like to have that level of investment from somebody else that causes you to be the best version of yourself, that pushes you to be the best version of yourself, and you're never going to get the benefit of that investment. If you never put money in the stock market, you're never going to get the compounding interest and returns. If you're so afraid of losing that you never invest, you miss out on everything. And I think the same thing is true when investing into marriage, relationships, and women, as it is with, investing in anything else. Take that for what it's worth. What kind of books do you read? Interesting ones. What is your tolerance for dishonesty in regards to any personal relationship in your life, not just romantic? Great question, Daniel. And I'm sorry that I'm reading this so late. I'm very behind on everything. So my tolerance for dishonesty in personal relationships, I have a higher level of tolerance if somebody is not honest with themselves, because most people are not taught how to be honest with themselves. Most people haven't really gone to therapy. They also, to be honest, like a lot of the times when people are not honest with themselves, they're kind of afraid, in my opinion, I think that they're kind of afraid of being honest with themselves, because if I am honest with myself, I will have to feel this and this hurts, or I will have to improve in this way and I'm scared. So they're not honest with themselves because their subconscious brain is trying to protect them from fear, loss, grief, mourning, suffering. But if they know something is false and they lie to me, that I have no tolerance for. So I have infinite tolerance and sympathy for people that are not able to be fully honest with themselves, because I don't think that is a skill that we learn. And I also don't think a lot of people are put into environments in early childhood where they are comfortable experiencing mourning, loss, sadness, fear, and things like that because of a bad childhood environment, child abuse, or just crappy parents. So I have sympathy for that, but I do not have sympathy at all in any way, shape, or form for somebody that lies to me for any reason. I am completely honest about all my flaws, all my failures, what I think, the things that I say are things that would very easily give my girlfriend the upper hand in a relationship, the upper hand in an argument, because sometimes I express myself before I figured out how to phrase it in a way that's, completely politically correct. And it would be very easy to dunk on me when I do that. And I think a lot of characters, when you have the right or the ability to kind of, to kind of jump on somebody and you choose not to do it. Yeah, but I don't really have no tolerance for somebody who knows something is not true and then lies to me. That you can't do. That's not a relationship at that point, and that's not a friendship. Would you see that companies have a social responsibility to do right by their customers? It depends on what you mean by right. Like, everybody has a different idea of right. I think companies have a responsibility to not go bankrupt, because if they go bankrupt, they can't help anybody, while simultaneously providing good service to customers. But some customers will say, listen, I broke my screen again. It was only one day after I got it fixed. They'll do right by me by replacing it again for free. Like, what's right? How about using a dongle for wired headphones? If you want to. The problem I have is I can't find a wired headset that's actually good with a microphone. I was literally this close to buying a Bose A30 or this insanely high-end David Clark headset for $900 until I realized that there's an equalizer in it for vocal reproduction that you can't turn off for music. It drives me insane. Like I was actually using a setup with my phone where I had a dongle that allowed me to plug in this microphone and Shure wired earbuds, but it's two separate wires. It's two separate things to put in your head. It's not very ergonomically friendly. Seth Rain funded 20. Thank you very much, especially since I was kind of mean to you before. Sorry about that. Thank you for everything you've done and everything you continue to do and provide. Heart. Thank you. Sorry for shitting on you for the whole border pair thing. I don't know what it is about that. It's like it's just kind of like when you, I don't know. It's like sometimes I get aggravated because I think like, how much do I have to provide before people will just say thank you without asking for more? But that's my problem. Despite Lewis thinking his rantings are that of a crazy man, we make a great life coach and we very much appreciate him. I would have to get my own life in order before coaching others, and that's the thing why I would not consider myself a coach or anything like that. You'd be a life coach and we would pay you $300 an hour. Marriage or Bose? What do you prefer? Bose, no highs, no lows, must be Bose. I think they're different things. Marriage and Vandersteins. Marriage and Vandersteins rather than marriage or Bose. Again, I believe that I would have to get my own life in order before I can coach other people. So I would accurately call these the rantings, ranting into a camera of a crazy guy, rather than saying that that this is coaching. There is a lot of misogyny too, to be honest. With what? You're right. You have to say it's a date, I guess. It's asked, do you want to go out on a date? I don't know. So one of the experiences that I've had as a man, and to be clear, this is my experience. This is not yours, and I do not want to project it onto you. Is every time I have said, do you want to go out here as a date, I've gotten punked. Like I'll get something like, well, I guess. Or I'll get something like, maybe. Or with you? Like I 100% of the time I get punked. If I say something like, hey, I'm going to this show on Friday night. I think you'll have fun. Come with me. And they're like, okay. And I go, cool, it's a date. That works. Like I don't know why. I can't explain why. I can't explain the psychology. Maybe it's just like my own fucking autism or something. I don't know what it is. 100% of the time, from age 13 to 35, that I have asked, do you want to go out? Would you want to go on a date with me here? Punked. Just straight up punked. Like, it's always something. Like, with you? Maybe. Well, I guess. Like, it's 100% of the time, some sort of punk shit, like shit testing punking thing. But if I say listen, I got some tickets to this Jerry Cantrell concert. You want to, it'll come with me on Friday night. It'll be fun. Nah, I don't want to go. Okay, cool. Or, yeah, sure. And then I go, okay, cool. It's a date. See you then. That works. I don't know why. No fucking clue. I'm too autistic to understand what, the social norms or why that works and other stuff doesn't. But when you say, just ask, do you want to go out on a date? Again, you may have a different experience than me. When I ask like that, absolutely get punked. Like you could almost see like the happiness in the eyes of the woman that's like, I'm kicking you down a notch or something, and it just kind of sucks. So I would suggest asking the other way. I think it's equally respectful. I think it's I think it's fine, and it genuinely works better for me. But again, your mileage may vary. Been a casual viewer since I got into computers in freshman year of high school. Finished up my software engineering degree. Always enjoy your perspective in business. Here's for your years of ad block. Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you. No, I thought we went out as friends. I was just going to pay just to be nice until she said it on her own. Okay, JP, my bad. I'm sorry. I fucked up there, JP. My bad. Also, holy crap, I'm behind by a half hour on chat. Literally behind by a half hour. I used to use a Galaxy S9 for the past 6 years. Should I keep using it or upgrade time? If it still works, keep using it. What I would suggest is if you cannot get security updates anymore, if you can't get security updates and you're using an old version of Android, by all means keep using it. I would be careful about having shit like, my credit card number saved on there or like a password to a banking app or anything like that. But if it still works for you, by all means keep using it. Lewis, right on. Keep right on looking. After moving to Austin a couple of years ago, I found my fiance. Playing seafood provisions is a great place for a first date. Cool. I don't go on dates where people are expecting me to pay anymore. You want to date a successful guy, you're paying, especially now that I'm on hard times in my core business. I'm sorry to hear that, Mobile Fix. If you're in the Discord or anything, message me because I've always respected you as a viewer and as an acquaintance, and I always like what you had to say. You always had really quality contributions, and I feel bad that I've gotten out of touch with a lot of the people that I thought were good people to talk to, and over the past 2 months, I've really been trying to like rebuild a lot of those old relationships. So if you want to rant about it or you want to talk about it without getting advice and just kind of have somebody to like toss stuff back at, I'd be interested in what's going on with you, and I'd be happy to hear from you. What's your opinion on privacy preserving cryptocurrencies like Monero? I guess they exist. I don't really have an opinion. They exist. Use it if you want to, but I'm sorry you gave $5 to get such a milquetoast thing to say. I don't really feel strongly about it one way or the other. No one threatened the throne, but it's like we went to a black hole from late December up until now. Our pair is sunk by 85%. We don't know why. I'm sorry, Mobile Fix. Like for me, it's easy. I know why. For me, it's like, all the parts that I used to be able to buy, I can't anymore. Yeah, I used to buy a screen for $38 to $72 straight from LG or AU Optronics. I want to start repairing. What are your suggestions? I want to learn. Go out there into the world and figure it out. There's enough resources on YouTube, Repair Wiki, everything else. Buy some shit, buy some used stuff, buy like 3 or 4 of the same item, like working so you can test and know what a working one measures, and a couple of broken ones so you have a parts device, and you also have let's say if you have a known working, then you know all the parts on it work, so you can use that to fix the other 2. You can compare the working one and the dead one, and then, read, experiment, fuck around, analyze, use your brain, train your brain. How do people even get together then? Can't ask for a date, can't tell them you like them. I guess people still believe the swan delivers. Again, like to be clear, Darren Steer, on the internet, you are going to see the most extreme version of all of this. You're not, and again, like you're going to see the most extreme version of all of it. That, again, what I'm saying with that is that guy liked that woman. But what he did is he thought, I am going to continue to be her friend for a long period of time to get her to like me because I'm too scared to ask her out and show my interest in the beginning because I'm afraid of rejection. So, like, how do you ask out? You ask out up front. Or, make your feelings obvious up front. And don't be a creep. Don't be a weirdo about it. Don't be a creep. Don't be a weirdo. Don't be a bastard. But, like, when you go out to the beach, where this woman is going to jump on your back, she's going to be doing it as a date. Because you're going to say, oh, like, come to the beach with me. It'll be fun. Like, we could talk about all the stuff you want to talk about. Or if she's talking about work for 3 hours and you're like, man, it's kind of weird listening to this when I'm not your boyfriend. You can say, oh, let's go to the beach on Friday night. You can tell me all about this stuff and we'll have a lot of fun. I'll listen. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, great. It's a date. Then she it kind of clicks. Oh, so if I want the benefit of this guy listening to me and validating my emotions and feelings for 3 hours and actively listening and caring about me, he wants something in return, which is an actual fucking relationship. Do I want this? And you cause her to make that decision early on, to weigh that in that moment that you ask her out, rather than like stringing her along for 2 years where you like, she doesn't really like, where you don't make your emotions clear and then it's just weird later. Like, do it in the beginning. How the fuck do people get together? Can't ask for a date? Yes, you can. You can. Just don't do it 2 years in because that's how you fuck yourself. What's your stake on emulators? I like emulators, and fuck Nintendo for what they did to Yuzu. Clinty. Every question from 11:27 to 11:30 is gone because YouTube chat sucks. I'm sorry about that. What are your thoughts about college for IT? I don't know. I do know that we live in a time where ATS systems essentially just filter you out and you don't exist and you're invisible if you do not have a degree, which is kind of the reality of life. You have to prove that you're so good and you have to have a connection with somebody to get in a lot of different ways because it really is difficult to get a job the quote normal way. If you're dealing with an ATS, any sort of job where you're applying, you're sending a resume and there's an ATS system, you just kind of wind up fucking yourself without a degree. It's unfortunate, but Lewis, but how in this reality? I'm open, can talk, go to therapy, like to build up my guy, all alpha X's, but they drink, cheat, or they didn't go to therapy. Where do you find? Not negative. I think that there's something about the way that you're going about picking men or finding men that may not be productive for you. And I don't know what that is because I don't know you well enough, and I don't think I have enough knowledge to tell you what you're doing wrong, nor am I qualified to, but I think a therapist can help you with that. How will you do with a long-distance girlfriend who gives a guilt trip just for being away for a whole day? What do you mean? What does she give a guilt trip? She gives a guilt trip to you because you're away, or she gives you a guilt trip because you want to spend more time with her? Lewis, do not get married. You will risk all the hard work you did, brother. Again, this is just, it's very, very, that entire thought process it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a scarcity mindset from traumatically damaged people. It's unfortunate, but. I want to give something back to you. I enjoy your company while doing homework. Thank you, Russ. Thank you very much. You didn't need to give me $5, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Any recommendation for Android phone with an unlockable bootloader? It makes me sick to say, but the Pixel. I hate saying it because it has garbage service. Like they don't use the Qualcomm radios or modems or whatever that everybody else uses that allows them to get service. So you wind up walking under a tree and you lose 2 bars. But the bootloader is, you can buy it with a bootloader that can easily be unlocked without any of the Motorola bullshit where you have to get a fucking code and sign some agreement that signs your rights away to sell your own personal property. And also, even there's a lot of phones that have unlockable bootloaders, but nobody's made an operating system for them. At least with the Pixel, you have Calyx, you have Graphene, you have all this other shit. Like people say, Sony has an unlockable bootloader, but I can't install any of the stuff I want to install on it. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not trying to be a fan of any of these companies. It's a genuinely shitty market. It's a really shitty market. With it's a very shitty market we have with smartphones now. Lewis, being loved, feel great, but the broke up pain is greater always. Why bother if you feel okay alone? Because the reason is because that's cope. You're not as happy alone as you were when you were being loved, and you don't. And everything doesn't have to come to an end. I would say because it's cope, and that's cope, but you're not going to be honest about it in my chat. I'm waiting for the kind of woman that I need. It'll happen someday. Fuck settling. Everybody settles, man. Everybody settles. Everybody settles. At the end of the day, I'm not going to get Ruby Lewis from Cirque du Soleil. Paramore. If I was an intern for Roy Hendrickson in 2007, and if I had not quit my job in 2008, and I continued making $7.50 an hour for another 8 years, instead of starting a MacBook repair empire, I would have gotten to record Ruby Lewis's album. Now, granted, instead of doing that, I got 2 million subscribers on YouTube, a business with 16 employees in the world, and my business is world-renowned for being one of the best at component-level board repair. And I got a few laws passed, but I could have recorded Ruby Lewis's album. What a fucking simpy I am. Anyway, okay, aside from the celebrity crush thing, my point before I... My point is that everybody is going to settle at some point. This idea that I'm not going to settle, really? Really? So you have a crush on Shakira, you're going to marry Shakira tier or nobody else? Really? We all settle. We have to be realistic. You shouldn't feel like you're settling for somebody that doesn't treat you well or that's bad to you, but you're going to settle. Everybody's going to settle. Because 99% of the people watching this, they're not Kobe Bryant, Most of the people watching this are... You're not Ava Longoria. Would you consider going on Fresh and Fit podcast? No, not really. I think they're kind of clowns. I've been married for 8 years and almost every single day has been bliss. Maybe I should write a book. Why not go for it, Mike? Risk prevention experience is extremely important. If you're risking, that's a bad path. David Mueller, you have just completely outed yourself as a total bullshitter. There is always risk. Everything you do in life has risk. Almost everything you do that is worthwhile has risk. Starting a business has risk. I could have stayed at Laptop MD and made $40 a fucking repair and probably been making $2,000 a month right now. Or I could risk and have a successful business, used to be successful business, but for a good period of time, a successful business, overdue ad block tax. Okay, just to be clear, simply because you use ad block does not mean you owe me money. I just want to put that up forward right now. Even if you have used ad block for 12 years, you don't owe me shit. So I appreciate it, and I thank you. And I appreciate it as a contribution, but that isn't, it's not like a tax. You don't owe me shit. I'm not owed anything from any of you. I'm a man ranting into a camera. But it is appreciated. Thank you for the $5, Toastberry. I genuinely appreciate it. But if you block, even if you block 100% of the ads from 2012 to the present, you don't owe me anything. But yeah, how are Sonny and Hi doing? Hi, I haven't spoken to in 2 years. Sonny, I spoke to 6 months ago. I hope he's doing well. I've kind of been a bad friend to Sonny. What was I saying? Almost everything worth doing in life comes with risk. If you go to college, that degree may wind up with you, or the contacts you make in college may wind up with you leading an amazing life and pursuing things you otherwise would have never pursued. That takes risk, because for those 4 years you're in college, you're missing out on work. That's opportunity cost. Simultaneously, not going to college, that's risk. You may not be able to get a real job if you don't do that in today's marketplace, but you may do something crazy like me and start business. There's always risk involved in everything you do in life. I'm happy that I started a business. I'm happy that I don't work for fucking Arthur at Laptop MD. That makes me very, very happy. But it would be very easy for me to just say, well, I don't want to risk. Risk is scary. I'll stay and get my $40 commission to repair for, the repairs where you don't decide to try and force me to destroy it for the customer because you're a bunch of, everything involves risk. If you, no risk, no reward. You got to risk a little bit. You got to be open with a little risk. And the problem, thank you for being an authentic human. Thank you, Xavier. And dare I say it, I think that idea of not wanting to take risk, I'll be honest with you, I think it comes from fucked up childhoods. And just like I said before, I have infinite sympathy and empathy for people that come from fucked up childhood environments, because I did too. You were not in an environment as a child where you had a support system so that when you took risks, if you failed, you got to feel what the support system felt like. If you took a risk as a kid, you just got destroyed. If things didn't go the way you wanted, if something didn't go the right way, you were stuck by yourself. And that hurts. Here's a back pay of ad revenue. Oh, come on. Stop with the fucking... you don't owe me shit for that. Listen, it's not back pay from ads. I consider it a donation from the kindness of your heart. But you don't owe me shit for blocking ads. But thank you very much, Lone Wolf. It's very appreciated. My point here. You probably weren't given an environment as a kid where if you took risks and things didn't go well, you got support from people that loved you and cared about you, that explained things to you, that talked to you through what it was that went wrong and how you could potentially not have that go wrong in the future, that encouraged you to try again, and that demonstrated that when something goes wrong, that your life is not over. I'm sorry for that. And someday when I have children, I hope to provide the type of environment for them that makes them understand that you can screw up from time to time. You're going to screw up. You're going to make the wrong decision. God damn you people. Mandatory ad block tax. Lewis is holding my family hostage. I am not Liam Neeson. But thank you very much, Martin, for the $5. It is genuinely appreciated. It is not a tax, though. You do not owe me shit. I'm a man that rants into a camera. Back into this. I hope to God that I'm able to give my children an environment when I have children, or find somebody that thinks I'm worth having children, whatever the fuck, that they have an environment where, again, if I don't yell at them, don't scream at them, don't punish them, don't smack them, but I genuinely, I negotiate with them, I talk to them, I level with them as if they're an equal to me when things go awry, or when they have a bad moment in their life, that I'm there to encourage them and show them, listen, this sucks, I know this feels like shit, but it's not the end of the world. I don't watch anime, I'm not into that shit. I watched Pokemon when I was 9 years old. I saw Pikachu go Pika, and then that was about it. I think I saw Mega Man too. Is Mega Man anime or a cartoon? I don't even know. Anyway, I don't watch anime much. I don't really watch much fiction in general. Back to this. I want to hopefully create an environment for my kids where when they fall and they bruise themselves, not even just physically, but they fall and they bruise themselves emotionally or intellectually or something like that, that they realize that it's not the end of the world. They feel like what it's like to have a support system. And above all, they feel encouraged to try again, so that when they're older, they don't live this life of scarcity where they're going out of their way to avoid building relationships with men and women because they're afraid that it could go wrong. They're afraid of starting a business or doing anything with even the tiniest bit of risk because they're so traumatized because they never had the experience as children of being validated and of being supported. I really do think that kind of thing comes from childhood, and I'm sorry that you had that experience. Nothing called an ideal partner. Listen, nobody's perfect, man. It doesn't mean I'm not perfect either, and I'm confident if I marry somebody someday that they're going to learn that very fucking quickly. They're going to learn that way before we get married. I'm not hiding anything. From the first date, first date you go out with me, you get to learn a lot about me. I'm not perfect. What is your stake on emulators? I already answered that question. Stop copying and pasting. Let's see. How does one keep a new business successful? Satisfy your customers. Go out of your way to make your customers as happy as humanly possible. Don't offer them the average experience. Offer them the best experience. Let's see if I can find my old blog on this before. Let me see if I can find the blog I'm thinking of. Thanks for inspiring me to help think more critically about tech around me. With your opinion of the framework laptop, you must be positive. What's your opinion of the new 16-inch? I don't know, really. I haven't tried it. I mean, it exists. I like the fact that you can get a GPU. One of the things that pisses me off is I like DaVinci Resolve as a video editor, and I like using Linux. And when I use Linux, I either have two choices. I can either use stuff like Kden Live, which just makes me want to cry because you can't even use audio plugins in 2024, and so much shit just doesn't work right. Or I can use DaVinci Resolve, but I'm forced to use a computer with an NVIDIA GPU. On Windows, I can use DaVinci Resolve even with an integrated GPU. But then I'm using Windows, and that also makes me want to cry. So what I like about the newer framework is that I have the option for a discrete GPU, which means that if I had it, I could use Linux on it, and then I could use DaVinci Resolve. But right now I just use my ThinkPad for when I travel, and I'm making videos. I disagree. I don't think you owe me shit. If you find the stuff valuable and you wish, you enjoy the entertainment, and it's again, optional, purely optional. You don't owe me shit. I'm the one telling you guys to use AdBlock, so I have no right to any of your fucking money. What was I saying? Okay, I forgot where I was there. Oh, I was trying to find that link to my blog. Where is the thing I was looking at? Okay, I'm trying to find my old blog on reviews, and I can't find it. Oh, well, sometime later. Let me see. Maybe this is it? No, this makes me... Is this it? Bribing customer. Pack Bay from ads. Will you stop that shit? Anyways, but thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, I can't find the one that I wanted to find. It was a blog from my website. If you go to rossmanngroup.com/blog, I think, or something like that, you'll be able to see all, you have to go back to sometime between 2012 and 2014. It was a blog where I was doing about reviews, where I was talking about going above and beyond rather than... Is this it? A tax season tip for fellow viewers. If you use TurboTax, don't waste money on the auto protection upgrade. When needed, they redefine audit. That's fucked up. Thank you for giving people advice. Okay, that's not it. I thought that was it. Oh, this one isn't it either. Oh, well. Okay, I give up. I'm sure I'll find it once the stream is over, but on to the next. Okay, let's just time out the people that won't stop repeating the same shit. You gotta go. No one will ship Vandersteens to Canada. Oh, you gotta drive down. Do you think you'd still start a successful computer repair business if you can't do board repair? No. I don't know what you're even doing at that point. Like, the computer is the board nowadays. Like, you're not replacing inverter boards, you're soldering an LED driver. You're not, like, unplugging the customer's solid-state drive, and then you're not unplugging the customer's hard drive and plugging it into your computer and dragging and dropping the data. You're fixing the board to get the SSD that is soldered onto a board and then encrypted by a chip on the board to work again. Like, so many of the things that used to be basic are now board repair. So if you don't do board repair, even if you do board repair, it's going to be difficult to make money today. If you don't, I genuinely don't even understand what the value add is, in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't get into that. Is the way you say it makes you sound more secure yourself. Perhaps. I find out how the smartphone you use and mentioned call quality, signal strength, a lot of which impacts overall battery life. I think a big part of the reason is because 99% of the phones out there use the same chipsets nowadays from Qualcomm, where like the only phones that use different chipsets are bullshit like this Google Pixel, where again you walk under a tree and you lose service because they're too stubborn to actually use proper, yeah, like they're too stubborn to use proper chipsets. You have any experience recovering data for 2007 first digital my book? That's for Chris Orhan and Steve. That's not something I do. Mine failed last year and still have the encrypt board. Would be happy to ship it after you recover data. Yeah, like that's a Chris thing. Like Chris, I sent Chris to a bunch of these classes that were like $2,000 or $4,000, and he also like stays up until 2 in the morning almost every single night since 2019 or 2020 or so, like fucking around my PC 3000 and some other Rousselot and some other equipment I got him. He does all the data recovery shit. So I can give you the generic basic thing that I can give you the generic basic ass thing, which is yes, we do data recovery. If you want like all the specifics of it, like that's not me. Careful, I just increased my credit line today, so here's a $5 to celebrate. No, do not, no, bad, do not pay me with debt. If you have any debt whatsoever, do not click that fucking button, pay off your credit card. No. Increasing your credit line has nothing to do with your personal wealth. I appreciate it. Thank you for the $5. It's very nice of you. Having a higher credit line does not increase your net worth or your wealth at all. It increases the amount of money that you could potentially blow and have to deal with a 28% fucking interest rate where you have to pay them back. Do not go into debt. Do not give these people your life, your hard work, or your soul. Do not become slaves to the banks or the credit card manufacturers. Have you researched Sony Xperias? Yes, I have. You're spending $900 to $1,500 for a phone that's like 2 generations behind on Android and has an SD card that you can't encrypt because the new Android doesn't allow you to. But it has a headphone jack. This. Can you kindly check your Matrix messages? No, I'm in a stream right now. I'm sorry. I have too many Matrix messages. I have too many messages everywhere. But also, most importantly, I'm reading chat from 11:47 and it is 12:07, which means I am 20 minutes behind. Wait, it's Sherlock. Sherlock, make a bank account. You make a bank account right now. Right now. You're going to you make a bank account so I can send you money. Make a bank account, make a bank account, make a bank account so I can pay you. You need to make a bank account. You need to make a bank account. Anyway, back to this. Interesting that went what? Damn it. I hate this thing with YouTube chat where you scroll and you lose everything. Thank you very much, MobileFix, for reading my message. I really appreciate it, and I hope to hear from you. That was a cat meowing for a moment. I tried to get him to come up on the chair, but he didn't want to. If you have a happy, good life and look nice, you'll find a woman in your life all of a sudden. Yeah, I suppose. Work on having a good life. That'll help you. IMMICH, Sam Gardner. IMMICH. IMMICH. Yeah, my friend doesn't call fresh. He instead of saying fresh and fit, my friend, I posted his channel here a few times, the Talking Shit podcast. My friend and personal trainer calls them the frauds in Florida. I always find it funny when he says that. Does it ever frustrate you the types of scummy business practices that independent repair outfits sometimes engage in and give others bad names? Yeah, I try to call them out. I've tried to call them out. Is it better being an owner than an employee? It depends who you're an employee of. It depends where you are in your life. It depends on your risk tolerance. And it depends on whether the place you work at is a place you can feel pride in or a place that you think is fucking people. I've been hesitant to date recently because I like to be moving across the country later this year, so any relation probably wouldn't last. Realistic or cope? It's kind of realistic. Long distance stuff tends to not work. I'm going to head out. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Martin. The problem with long distance relationships at the end of the day is there's this weird pink elephant in the room. There's this weird odd thing that you avoid, which is that neither of you thinks the other person is worth moving for. Really, that's a difficult thing. Like, again, moving is a pain in the ass. I get it. You have to get a new job if you have a job. There's all the type of stuff that makes it weird. Trust me. I know, because everybody's going to overflow the chat with that. But the one thing that makes it weird is the more you get to like each other, the more you get to love the person, the more you get to care about them and feel invested in them, the more fucking awkward it's going to be that, like, the person is not worth, that you don't want to move for them or they don't want to move for you. Like, or that you two both don't want to find a place that you like and move together. Like that's the underlying awkwardness that's just going to fuck it up over time. The thing that I think fucks up long distance relationships is that underlying, like, You're going to be excited about moving and starting something before they are, vice versa. Also, when you have weeks apart, when you have days apart, like insecurity is going to come in and destroy you. Like insecurity is going to fly in like the fucking gnats outside fly in if I open this door without the screen door on. I'm getting a new screen for this, by the way, because I don't have a screen for the damn door here. I can't open this thing. I like opening it, but all these fucking gnats will fly in and destroy me. Gnats will... Like insecurity is going to run in and you're going to wind up with these weird little arguments as a result of the hot and cold of the excitement of being able to see each other when you want. And then the 2 months, or the 2 weeks to a month apart where you don't get to see each other, this is going to destroy your soul. And then when you actually want to try and be closer to the person, either okay, they may find you to be clingy and go, I don't want to do that, in which case you're going to feel undervalued, or they're going to want you to move first, and you're going to be like, listen, man, I'm not ready for that. I got this opportunity in this life, and then they're going to feel undervalued. It's just, it's like, I don't know. It's something that's going to torture you. And like, I could understand you putting yourself in that situation if you don't have options. Like, I'm not going to tell a man that has absolutely zero options, don't take a long distance relationship if you can't find somebody who is open to dating you in your home city or your home state. Take what at least get the experience or whatever. But unless you have a plan, and you're with somebody who is comfortable coming up with a plan, a very specific plan on how to make a long distance thing not be long distance, you will be torturing yourself. You will be torturing yourself, and it's going to be very weird. Now, again, being with somebody who's open to planning, lots of people are not. There are men that don't want to plan. A bunch of these men in the chat are actually, it should be said the opposite. They're comfortable planning and saying, I don't want a girlfriend and I never want to get married. And all conversely, there are women that feel really uncomfortable planning. They feel like they're going to be trapped. They feel like, this man is going to control me. I want to feel like I've maintained my independence and freedom, which means that you're never going to have an answer and you're never going to know. You could put a year or two into that woman and she may never want to move where you are. She may not feel comfortable with you moving where she is because she'll think, you're invading my space. Like, you avoid all this stuff by dating people in the 20 to 50 mile radius of where you live. Now, again, I'm not going to say don't do it. This is all, these are all your choices. This is your life. Who the fuck am I to tell you what to do with your life? I'm just a crazy guy that yells into a camera. I don't know your shit, but I'll give you one of these for the great years of content. Thank you for the thumbs up, Killer Jolt. I appreciate it. You shall be aware of yourself. Just because you settle doesn't mean your partner doesn't settle as well. Listen, my partner probably wants Brad Pitt. I probably want Ruby Lewis. Everybody's settling at the end of the day, man. Everybody's settling. Maybe not Kobe Bryant. Actually, never mind. Kobe Bryant settled for that one. Okay, too soon. But love your vids and rants, man. Thank you, Hayes. You know what, MSN Messenger still works? You gotta be kidding me. Who the fuck uses that? Marry someone young, Lewis, to make better wives and will follow you better since they have less baggage. I mean, honestly, David, you're just literally just kind of regurgitating all the recycled 2016 red pill generic stuff. It's just kind of... Are you still doing a repair workshop with Fudo? What do you think about Final Cut Pro? It's a video editor. What music are into or artist? I like Alice in Chains Jar of Flies. Good album. Order a girlfriend from a catalog. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's kind of don't do that. That $2 is very bad advice. I grew up in a very abusive and dysfunctional environment. Everything you said hit home. I'm very sorry to hear that, but I hope you're able to seek therapy and find something. The Framework 16 only supports an AMD GPU, so I'm not sure that fixes your DaVinci Resolve. I honestly don't know if an AMD GPU allows Resolve to work in Linux. I don't know if it's NVIDIA only or if it works with AMD. I got to figure that out. Damn, somebody pays for the auto protection. That's fucked up. I'm sorry to hear that. You got wrecked. Hey, Lewis, computers. Thank you. That person got wrecked. It's a big recliner. It sure is. How important do you think financial responsibility is for risk-taking? I mean, take risks where you can deal with or live with the financial loss. I love staying up until 2 or 3 in the morning, mucking around with circuit boards and equipment, learning how they work, and pushing myself to see how much more intricate things I can do. That's cool. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you very much. Sorry that I haven't checked up on you and been a good friend. Can you start a bank account with no money? That's a difficult one. 100% on credit rant. Changing my understanding of credit is what saved me enough I actually became a homeowner. Very cool. Lewis, long time no see. How have you been? I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Thank you. I come home from school and lack the energy to do anything. It has been ruining my life, repairing stuff for people at school and stuff I buy on eBay is one of the few good things I have going on. Oh, sorry. You're an intelligent man that uses logic over feelings. What are your thoughts on Israel and Palestine? Nice troll bait. Nice troll bait. Nice try. Nice try. Is that true about the Google Pixel? I just got the screen repair on my Pixel and noticed a decline in my service. Dude, the Google Pixels have shit service if you don't replace the screen. If you use any editor available on Windows, you still use DaVinci Resolve. 100%. I love DaVinci. It doesn't crash. Been using it for... I've been using DaVinci for 4.5 years. Never crashes. When it's true love, it needs to end in moving together. It definitely doesn't work. Yeah, absolutely. Like, again, at the end of the day, like the big problem with a lot of long distance relationships is what I was saying is like, it just turns in like, if you're not willing to live in the same state or in the same city, and you're not willing to eventually work on a plan to move together, you're just fuck buddies. And like, I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm not saying that you want it to be that way. I'm just saying that that's kind of what it can turn into. And that's not what I want for you. I'm sure that's not what you want for yourself, and I'm sure that's not what the person you're with wants either. And the important part, and the reason I'm saying that is not in a derogatory way. I'm saying it's that you could avoid that being the reality. And the way you avoid that being the reality, talk, plan. If I feel like this by this time, here's what I'm open to doing. I don't know how I'm going to feel by this time, but if I feel this way, I'm open to doing this. If I feel this way, I'm open to doing that. If you get kind of like these answers, like wishy-washy answers, or I don't really know, I don't know. Like, at the end, you're going to wind up in a situation where, like a lot of time can pass. Again, like time is a valuable thing. You don't want to waste it. What's the best messaging app? Signal, Session, Telegram, Matrix. I think Signal's all right. I also moved to Austin and would like to hear about your experience in learning about the area, discoveries, etc. There's a cool place at the top. I forget the name of it. Zilker Park Clubhouse Road or something, where you can see the entire city. There's some clubhouse that's really old. It's old as shit because the sign has a local 7-digit number before you needed to have 10-digit numbers with the area code before you could dial. That has a really nice view of the city. I don't know. I don't really know about experiences learning about the area and all that. I feel bad because you gave me $5 and I don't really have much to say. Zilker Clubhouse Road. Go all the way up. It's going to be a gate. I'm not going to tell you what to do with the gate because I have a following. Anyway, I'm a New Yorker, so you could guess how I dealt with that. Anyway, you can see, when you go to a certain place, you can see a very nice view of everything. This is not a uBlock Origin tax donation. This is my previous donation, Chef on the Cookie, for Erica. I broke up with Erica 2 years ago, so unfortunately getting her a cookie at this point would be somewhat awkward. I had fun rewatching the live framework unboxing. Get one for yourself, too, if you'd like. Long live Right to Repair. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was actually over 2 years ago, but I appreciate it, though. Thank you. Behind by 7 minutes. I'm going to have to get going to sleep soon. I got an early morning. Has therapy been useful to you? Often you're conflicting information. It's been very useful and very useless depending on who I get. The thing with therapy is a lot of, the problem is that in my experience, most people across all industries suck at their jobs. Whether it's repair, whether it's, running a business, whether it is clerical, working for the government, like virtually all the, 95 to 99% of people, in my opinion, suck at their, I would say 95% suck at their job, 4% do their best to try to actually be good at it, and 1% are just like Einstein-level geniuses. But for the most part, in my opinion, most people suck at their job across all fields. And the thing that makes it really sensitive with therapy is if you don't care about your job and you see it as just a job, again, your job is literally to take people that may want to kill themselves and talk to them and help them navigate the world so that they don't want to kill themselves. I don't really care about USB killers. I guess if you use it maliciously, you're a cunt. And if you, I don't know, yeah. If you use it maliciously, you're probably a cunt. But I'm sure there are, useful ways to use it. Like if you're actually trying to test the security of an organization and you're literally hired to do that, go crazy. But like most people using it, I think are probably being assholes. Alice in Chains fan. Yeah, Jar of Flies is a great one. What can we provide for you? You provide us with value with your YouTube videos. What you can provide for me is, I guess, getting people to care about repair in their own life by, if you're good at fixing something, help somebody either A, fix something they otherwise wouldn't have fixed, or B, understand and experience the joy that comes from them being able to fix something themselves. That's, get somebody to experience and actually enjoy the joy that comes from being able to fix something on their own so that they have a personal investment in that which I enjoy. And that, it's not about what you can provide for me. It's about what you can pay forward to other people. It's not red pill. Red pill is stupid. It's common sense. Bro, it's not common sense. You're being a fucking idiot right now. You're literally saying if something has risk attached, that it is a bad idea to do. If everybody thought like you, nobody would start businesses. Nobody would go to school. Nobody would quit their job to get a better job because there's always a risk that a new job may not be as secure as the old. Like, nobody would actually live their life. Your mindset is one of scarcity. You cannot say it's common sense to say out loud, you should not take risk. No, I'm not giving you an out on that one. If you don't want to get married, if you don't want to have experiences with women because you've had bad experiences, you have trauma, you have been shit on, you have had bad experiences, that's fine. You do you. But do not project that shit onto the rest of the world. The same way that I say, my business failures, my life failures, anywhere where I failed, I will tell you about them, but I am not going to project that onto you. You cannot project your failures with women onto other men. That's bullshit. There's nothing worse in this world, in my opinion, than those old dudes, those late 40s, early 50s that picked the wrong people, that fucked up, that started families with people that they should not have started families with, that tell young men to not engage with the opposite sex, to not engage with half of the world because of their personal failure. You cut that shit out. You stop projecting your failures onto other people. Just because you did not grow up in an environment where you felt comfortable taking risk does not mean that you should traumatize everybody else into the shit of your life experience. Don't do that. That's a shit thing to do to the next generation. And New York City still finding you for random business BS? Nope. Live service gaming is what tech is training us for. Is it? Yeah, I'm not. No, I want to buy games. If I can't buy a game, then fuck off. I don't really want to deal with this whole thing where like there's microtransactions in games. I'm paying every month for the game. I'm renting the game. I'm subscribing to the game. Like, just no. I'd rather just never play a video game again than deal with that. This chair is about 7 years old, maybe 7 or 8. So I checked, and DaVinci Resolve should work with AMD. See, the word should, that's the difference between, there's very little difference between the word no and doesn't and the word should. Go away, Gaia. Go away. Go away. Go away. Shoo. Shoo. See, now you're out of here. Bye-bye. Like you're contributing anything useful. Okay. All right. I am out of here. I got to get some sleep. It's late. I got to be up very early in the morning. I got a lot of shit to catch up on. I actually got a lot of chores to do tomorrow. I got to make my to-do list. Shouldn't older guys share their experience with younger dudes coming up to keep them from making the same mistakes as you? That's not what they're doing. See, okay, last comment. They're not sharing their experiences to stop young men from making the same mistakes they are in a healthy way. They're not saying, hey, son, because I'll make the same criticism of a lot of single moms that I met back in the day. What these men are doing is the same thing that I will criticize a lot of single moms for. Like what a lot of single moms, here's the thing. They have two choices. They could either say, A, I chose wrong. I made all these bad decisions. I had sex with a man, and I created a child with a man that was not a quality provider, that was not a quality man, that was not the type of person that would stick around, that was not that was a loser. And I chose a loser over other eligible men. This is what I did wrong. Here are the things that I chose a man. Here's the criteria that I chose a man on, and here's why that's wrong. Here's what you shouldn't do. That's not what most of them do. What they say is men are shit. Don't trust men. Men are bad. Men are shit. There's no accountability. Simultaneously, with what they're doing, these men are not sharing. They're not saying, here is the path that I took. Here's how I didn't have confidence in myself. Here's how me not fixing these issues that I had in childhood and not facing them as an adult resulted in me picking a woman based on my own personal trauma and issues. Here's how here are all the little red flags that I ignored that I shouldn't have ignored. Here's how I chose the wrong woman, and as a result of choosing the wrong woman, got my lot in life. They're not saying that. That's not what they're saying. They're saying avoid marriage, avoid women, go do the whole MGTOW shit and all that stuff. Like they're not giving advice. They're not giving advice from a place of personal accountability and responsibility. They're giving advice from a place of trauma, of scarcity, and they're projecting their garbage experiences onto the next generation. Again, I'm going to tell my kid all the shit that I think I did wrong. I'm going to tell here's why I am where I am instead of where I could be, so that they know how to do better. I'm not going to tell them avoid this because the world is a scary place that's going to hurt you. Men are going to hurt you. They're all bad. Men change. Men, like that's the other thing. Like men magically change. Like they go from being this great person and then you marry them and they become evil and you can never trust that they're not going to change. So don't trust men. Rather than here's red flag 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 that I ignored. I made a mistake. Many people are not willing to admit the mistakes they made, so they project their trauma and their problems onto the next generation rather than believe in the fact that, A, rather than be honest with themselves, and B, believe in the fact that the next generation is smart enough to take that information and make better decisions for themselves. They're robbing the next generation from the ability to make good decisions for themselves by robbing them of the information they need to do it. Companies want to use live service model to... I agree with you. Anyway, with that, I really should get the fuck out of here. It is late, and I gotta get out of here. Isn't that subjective? Nah, objective, bro. Objective. Don't project your trauma onto other people. And I am out of here. I will see you later. Don't let people who are salty because they fucked up their life, black pill you on starting yours. Again. Anyway, that's about that. Don't let men or women, don't let people that have fucked up their lives, who are not willing, ready, or capable to admit what they did wrong, keep you from living yours. Just because they're not able to take accountability and responsibility and point out what they could have done differently does not mean that you have to live a life of isolation from women because they chose the wrong one and can't admit it. Like, fuck that shit. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I hope you learned something.